WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
We are live on Radio Row in San Francisco. The Sports Bash is with you from the Super Bowl, and we got a big show, and it starts off, man, we got big breaking news right off the top of the show today. It always falls in this weird Radio Row week where we've got all the football going on, and we got everything that's happening, but we got some breaking news on the basketball side of things. We have the Sixers trading Jared McCain for a first-round pick. So Jared McCain has been traded for a first-round pick along with 3 second-round picks. So they get the 2026 Rockets first-round pick. We'll start with that. Mike Gill, Scott Grayson, as always, is with me on Radio Row. We got our whole team here for you. We got a busy week. We got a busy day. We're going to be talking with Mike Mayock in about 10 minutes from now. Donovan McNabb is scheduled to join us right after that. Kevin Nagandi is going to be here later on in the show. We're going to be talking with definitely going to be one to stick around, Jeff Garcia, who obviously played with the Eagles, has an interesting story. He coached Sean Mannion when he was a coach with the Rams, and he also has something interesting to tell us. I will tell you, we recorded with Jeff Garcia earlier today, and he told us something in that interview that you are going to want to make sure you stick around for. Check that out at Mike Gill Show. We're on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. You can watch the show, the whole shebang from out here. If you are looking behind us, you will see just Dan Orlovsky sitting over there. We had Chad Ochocinco came up and gave me a bear hug today. CM Punk walking around. Terrell Owens is here.
So Cooper DeJean earlier.
Cooper DeJean walking around, and he has been very popular, Cooper DeJean. You know, Cooper DeJean has hit that level where it seems that, like, he is almost gone on another level.
Yeah.
Right? You cover him all the time.
Yeah. No, and he's got a great personality, of course. He also had a huge play last year, the pick six, everybody knows. Had a pick last night in the Pro Bowl.
He may or may not be dating a huge WWE star.
Sure. So he's got a lot going on, and the podcast, of course, he does with Reed Blankenship.
Yeah, but Blankenship doesn't seem to be as high in demand.
Not as much. I still love the clip when the one player came up to him in the game, was like, "Hey, Coop," and he's like, "No, I'm the other one."
The other guy. So we're very busy today. Before we start to get into, we're going to talk to Mike Mayock, and by the way, Mike Mayock, obviously. We're going to get his thoughts on what's going on with the Eagles, what he sees. We talked about Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia will be joining us. We recorded that earlier in the day, so we're going to try to – we also recorded an interview with Romeo Doubs.
Very fascinating.
Who played with Sean Mannion in Green Bay this year. Sean Mannion, the coach, not
right.
Sean Mannion, the player. You'll hear what Doubs says about their loss and the Eagles' gain there. So you want to stick around for that as well. Man, I know my mind's going in so many different directions as you see so many people just walking around. But one of the big things, by the way, Jared McCain getting traded, we were at the game last night. You didn't go.
No.
Me, Earnshaw, and Alex went to the game. And by the way, the arena was unbelievable. The arena there is top-notch, beautiful. The game was awful. It was like a game. I literally feel like it was a game that you could have saw on the – I think if you went to Sea Isle and watched a pickup game, you'd be like, all right, these guys are more – like, it was such a poorly
Well,
played.
there was no Steph Curry.
Nope.
No Joel Embiid.
Nope.
VJ Edgecombe was the star of the game.
Yeah, they don't have Jimmy Butler either. They don't have – I mean, their whole team is former Sixers. DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Seth Curry, Jimmy Butler. I mean, Al Horford is on that team. I said the Warriors are a shell of themselves. And the Warriors are so bad that they bring you down to their level.
What was the attendance like last night?
Full.
It was full.
Yeah. We got good seats, too.
Yeah, I heard.
We got no nosebleeds for Nicky nosebleeds last night. We got lower level seats. I will tell you, to get out of there, the lift situation and just the traffic is outrageous. It is out. The stadium is 3 miles from our hotel. It took us an hour to get home last night.
Oh, wow.
It was brutal.
That is brutal.
Jared McCain did not play a lot in the game last night. Maybe now we might now know why.
That explains
he has
it,
been traded. And it's a shame. I actually – look, they got a first-round pick for Jared McCain, and most people, I think, yourself included, would say, hey, you got a good package from him. I agree. To get a first-round pick for Jared McCain, I think, is admirable. Here's the problem. I think Jared McCain's going to go to Oklahoma City and light it up. That dude can shoot.
He could. Here's the other problem, Mike. They got the Rockets pick. Well, the Rockets right now are 4th in the West, so it's not going to be a high pick. Now, you could couple it with yours. You can certainly make some things happen. They got 3 second-round picks with it.
It also gives them a little ammunition then. Maybe they have something else coming.
I would imagine this is the first shoe. There's going to be another shoe to drop at some point.
Could be, and keep in mind, we're out here at Radio Row. It's funny. Last night we were sitting to a guy, he was a Warriors fan, and he said, don't care what they do, just don't trade Curry. Like they are, like in Philly, at the end of the tenure, you're like, okay, trade Iverson, get rid of him, like move on. They were like, do anything you want, just do not trade Curry. And that team, there's a lot of buzz about Draymond Green. Did we see his last game in Golden State last night? Because they're ready to kind of move on from Draymond. The only guy they said, do not touch is Curry. And we at a situation where the Sixers, all this buzz about Giannis, would they be interested now with an extra pick? Have they called Milwaukee and said, hey, if we can get you another pick, will that get the job done? I don't know.
That's potentially it. I think when you look at it on the surface, you say, okay, well, the loss of Jared McCain is going to hurt with Paul George being out right now. He's one of the guys who was picking up some minutes from that. So they've got to it'll be interesting because the deadline's tomorrow. So obviously between today and tomorrow,
things are happening. Anthony Davis got traded to Washington too.
Right. And the Sixers, they don't play today. They play tomorrow night in Los Angeles against the Lakers.
Right. So. They have a brutal stretch. So last night they were in Golden State. They were in L.A. against the Clippers on Monday. So they played a back-to-back. Now they're going back to L.A. to play the Lakers. Then they got to go to Phoenix to play the Suns. Then I think they go to Portland to play the Trailblazers on Monday night. By the way, Scott Grayson, of course, from Fox 29. You can see him on Fox 29. And every year, Scott and I kind of handle all of the craziness that is Radio Row here. And we want to thank our sponsors who will be bringing you all the interviews today. One, it's my friends over at the Nizams. Indian restaurant, Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township. Amazing, delicious. NewJersey.com ranked them the number 2 best restaurant in all of New Jersey. If you haven't taken your family there, your wife, your spouse, whoever, it is a tremendous night out. They do a great job. Check them out. And, of course, their support for Radio Row is outstanding, as is Rocco over at Key Acura of Atlantic City. Now through February 28th, he can get you in the all-new Acura ADX with leasing options as low as $300 a month for qualified buyers, and that is hard to find these days. I can tell you, I just went through the whole situation, but it's the small but friendly dealer, and I recommend dealing with Rocco when you walk in. Ask for him. And then Ernest & Sons, Mel and the team over there, always a supporter. And if you are doing anything for the Super Bowl, buffalo wings, meatballs, homemade sausage subs, it's worth driving to Brigantine to go pick it up, okay? If you are doing a Super Bowl party and you're like, what are we getting? Don't say the local spot up the street. Make sure if you're having a party at your house, you get the very best in our area, and that's at Ernest & Sons. It's worth driving to Brigantine for your party to be that next level, okay? All right, there's a lot going on here. The trade deadline's happening. That happened. We got some text messages, and the White Horse RV text board is open throughout the show. 609-403-0973. So, Josh, when texts come in, if we're kind of just free flowing here, and you want to periodically, if you think it will be something that adds to the conversation, go ahead and do that. But what do you think so far? The town is starting to fill up. It's very spread out here. You know, you went to media night. Did you end up? You didn't end up going to media night.
No, I did not go. So here's the deal. We got into town Monday night, and it was this room was half the activity we've got today. When we picked up our credentials, came in, got settled in. Yesterday, a little bit busier. Today is really when the activity has really picked up. Now, a couple guys with us, Nikki Earnshaw and Billy Schwein, went down to opening night. Last year, it was on the field at the Superdome. Great environment for it, right, Billy? Sorry, Mike. Freudian slip.
Him and Billy are staying in the same
Yes,
room.
I've
They
had
might be getting a little cozy in there.
a lot of Billy lately to deal with. So you look at that side of it, and they were in a convention center. There was very little fanfare to it, and it was not what it was last year. When they described it to me, I felt bad. I feel like the players are getting gypped by the experience of what it's been this year. But then we come in here in Radio Row, and we like to set the scene for you in here. It's a lot smaller than it was last year. We're packed in here a lot more tightly. It is
very
cramped.
And by the way, it's not only is it crammed, we have Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco show is literally to our right there. So you will probably be seeing just a ton of people behind us throughout the day coming through here. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can watch the show live on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel and kind of see everything. You can see what's going on. And I got Ocho Cinco came up to me earlier, gave me the biggest hug. I mean, he took the wind out of me, and he said, "Go Birds! I want that Eagles offensive coordinator job."
Yeah, you go.
That's what he told me.
Well, it's great to see like the buzz is back. Here's the thing, though, I'm not seeing or hearing or feeling really the buzz about the game. We got the Seahawks and the Patriots. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of depth to this, excitement for this. It's not the best matchup.
I do agree. It's funny because, there are so many interesting storylines about the game, but there's not the star quality about the game.
Star power is not there.
Yeah, that is where this game, and if New England wins, that might start it for them, but they're a little early in their ascension, and I think that annoys people, right? Is that they're back again?
Right.
And then,
it annoys, I think it does annoy a lot of people that the Patriots are back again. And I agree with you. I think they're here earlier than they were expected to be. But look at the path that got carved out in front of them. No Mahomes. Josh Allen got knocked out. Then Bo Nix was hurt. They didn't have to face him in the AFC Championship game. They had the easiest schedule in the league this year. Everything was there for the Patriots to get here. But I just think the Seahawks, if we get into talking about the game, the Seahawks defense to me is going to be what wins the game for them.
And listen, that's another thing. This Seahawks team kind of came out of nowhere. Could this be their first year into now what could be, hey, they're the new dominant team? Sometimes it takes a year for that to all materialize, where like the Eagles had been there, and then they went 10-1, then they kind of fell apart, then they got back there again. So they have been in the National Football Conference, the NFL kind of hierarchy for the last 4 to 5 years now. The Seahawks have kind of just came out of nowhere. They get Sam Darnold, and I don't think – like the problem with we're talking about who's the star of this game, whatever. Sam Darnold had he was a high draft choice who did not make it in New York. Went to the Panthers, didn't make it there. Bounced all over the place, was a backup in San Francisco, ends up in Minnesota last year and has a good year, but nobody really believed in it. And because of that, and they got knocked out in the playoffs early, and then because of that, he goes to Seattle, and then no one takes them serious.
Yeah.
So now it's almost like if Darnold can have a big game here and win this game, now that puts him on the next level of now we take you serious.
Yeah, and I think he's got some weapons that we've all overlooked. I've really gained a lot of respect for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think the guy's got a ton of talent and could be a weapon in this game on offense. I was one of them who didn't believe that Sam Darnold could win the big game. He's won big game after big game along the way here to get there. And then you look further along, and then the question might be, can he continue to do it year after year? Chris Long, by the way, right over here, former Eagle.
Yeah, Green Light Podcast. It's
yes.
one of Josh's listens. I don't know. Try to direct Earnshaw. You're trying to. All right, Mike Mayock is going to come join us here in just a second. I want to get Mike Mayock's thought, too, on Darnold and May. Are these two quarterbacks are they good enough that these two teams will be perennially in this picture now? Like, are the Patriots perennial again?
From the Philly boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we got the Philly boys in the house, and Mike Mayock, who was set to join us right now. We're live, so we can just kind of free flow right now.
Yeah,
There's no way we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're just kind of good to see you, man.
Let's roll, man. What's happening?
We're doing good. We were actually right before a trade just happened in the NBA. Jared McCain got traded, so all the people back home were like, "Well, what's going on here?" Then we're at the Super Bowl.
Right.
The conversation we were just having.
Okay.
In your mind, Drake May, Sam Darnold. One of the reasons this game seemingly lacks a little buzz is because these guys are like the new cats on the scene. Do either one of them, to you, scream that these two teams are about to be perennial in this situation?
Perennial, I mean.
3 to 5 years.
Well,
they're going to be in the mix.
I think the key in the NFL is sustained success. That's what GMs and head coaches talk about all the time. So, like it or not, Philly's probably the model right now. It's been Kansas City, Philly, even though Philly got eliminated. Sustained success is hard. And
you need the quarterback to get it, though, right?
It starts with the head coach and GM on the same page, and just on the same level with that is you got to have a quarterback.
Okay.
And I think, for instance, if you look at all these one-year turnarounds that happened this year, and it's not just New England. Look at Jacksonville. Look at Chicago. Okay, what it was the marriage of a talented young quarterback and a new offensive mind, whether it's Liam Cohen or whether it's Ben Johnson or whatever. In New England, you know, they draft a guy who's immensely gifted, and they're getting returns out of that.
And they brought McDaniel back.
Yeah, they bring McDaniels back, which is a big deal. But here's my whole point. If you look at the last 20 years, 25 years in the NFL draft, the hit rate on quarterbacks in the first round, especially high picks, is less than 50%. You go, why? It's not that they're not talented, because they are. Look at Sam Darnold, look at Baker Mayfield, look at Daniel Jones. It's because all of a sudden, at some point, the fit is right. You got to get the fit right. And typically a bad team is drafting them.
Yep.
Right? So Patriots, by all level, were a bad team. They won 4 games a year ago. Right? Today, they're going crazy in Boston. Why? The head coach and GM, what a job they did. Nobody's talking about Elliott Wolf and the job he did in the offseason and free agency and the draft. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen, they turned them all over. All of them. 4 or 5. Right? It was a combination of draft and free agency. John Schneider in Seattle, you know, after Howie, he's right in there for the conversation. He's fantastic, and he did it a different way. He gets a veteran quarterback that they believe in. They did the wideouts on the fly, remade that whole room. I mean, the offensive line, he redid a first-round pick from North Dakota State. Defensive backfield is 4 homegrown guys and 1. So they did it differently. But, man, for me as a former GM and personnel guy, look at it and say it was awesome. It was really cool.
So, obviously, you mentioned the Eagles, and they were kind of the standard. They went to the Super Bowl, lost, 10 wins. This year, 11 wins. That's somewhat of a failure. Get somebody fired.
Yeah.
They bring in Sean Mannion.
Yeah.
Is that surprising for where they are to bring in a guy with that little experience?
It's a hard one because the way I grew up in football, especially with coordinators, and you kind of earned your job over time. You usually didn't get a coordinator position until you actually learned how to call plays offensively or defensively. Where it's gone the last 7-8 years is younger and younger.
Yep.
And what they're trying to do is match up these young offensive guys, that, especially guys that have experience with the McVay system or the Shanahan or the Kubiak, and they're trying to match these guys up with talented young quarterbacks. And they're also hiring young head coaches. This year was a little differently. You hire a 35, 40-year-old young head coach who's an offensive guy, and another team can't take him. They can take your offensive coordinator. They can take your quarterback coach and make him a coordinator. So we've gotten younger and younger because owners and GMs are trying to keep the quarterback in sync with at least one guy. And it's hard to do. So I look at Sean Mannion and shoot, I mean, I evaluated him coming out of, Oregon State?
Yes.
So I think of that kid, and he can't be, what is he, 30, 32?
33 years old.
33 years old. And I go,
and a 2-year coach.
And part of me goes, I don't know what he's capable of, but I don't know the person. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's good or bad.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys that Liam Cohen, I didn't know who he was. Look what he's doing with the quarterback.
That's true. I wanted to pick on your GM brain a little bit. Of course, in Philly, as I'm sure you know, the talk about A.J. Brown. Is he going to be here? Is he not? The $20 million, I think it is dead cap hit for him if he was traded. From a general manager's perspective, is this something you even think about? Because we also were talking to Romeo Dobbs earlier today, who said with Sean Mannion, these receivers should expect the ball more, so I could see A.J. maybe being happier.
Yeah.
How do you see this all playing out?
I think Howie is the acknowledged kind of cap trade king amongst the GMs. He knows it as well as anybody as far as the financial ramifications. And the Eagles are great at pushing obligations down the road. And because the salary cap goes up every year, it's really cheaper obligations as you go forward.
Okay.
Right? So when you look at a $20 million hit, it's significant. And Howie or I wouldn't tell you elsewise. However, if the return you get is significant enough, especially with draft picks, which what does that say? Cheap labor. Draft picks, cheap labor. So yeah, you're paying off this $20 million, and all the dead cap stuff hurts. But the more you push it down the road, and the higher the cap goes, the less it really affects you. So
Gotcha.
It's just kind of being on top of your numbers and how he is.
We always wonder why people even answer the phone when he calls. Like the general manager's like, "What are you doing? Is it that crazy, or do we make that too big of a deal?"
Well, I think at this point, for a while there, it was kind of like, "Man, watch out! How he's going to steal you blind," you know. And I remember the first. And what he's really good at, he's good at a lot of things, but he stays in touch. He's one of the most active general managers on the phone, even when there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Even when he just makes a call, says, "Hey,
you bored?
What do you got going on? Is anybody you want to move?" Hey, you know.
Mike Mayock's with us, by the way. You got a new draft show coming up. Everybody, you're very synonymous with the draft coverage. Tell everybody listening about the 2026 draft, what you'll be doing.
Yeah, there's a show called The Evaluation, and Sumer Sports, who I consult for. I want you to imagine like 25 to 30 old crotchety guys like me, okay, old scouts. Together we have over 500 years of experience in the NFL, okay? We're writing reports, we're watching the tape, we're arguing about players just like you do in a building. And then you bring in the 27-year-old data scientists with all the artificial intelligence stuff who want to tell me that you're wrong about the slot receiver because he really might not be able to separate because his average depth of target is this and is that. And what I learned pretty quickly is that anything that can help me get better or help us get better, you better listen to. And this show is about the marriage of those two, and then we bring in a bunch of Hall of Fame type players to talk about what made a difference for them at their positions. And we start out on February 12th with the quarterbacks. Eli Manning makes a visit.
Nice.
And we have a different position every week for 10 weeks.
Awesome.
And we're excited about
Everybody check that out. You still vacationing down the shore?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. OC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of snow there right now.
Trust me, I know.
Mike Mayock, everybody, here on the Sports Bash. Thanks, bud.
I appreciate your time, guys.
Yeah,
thank you
Mike.
so much.
All right, there you go. Check that out. By the way, according to Mike Garafolo, the Eagles are looking at Greg Olsen, who has been with Sean, or possibly to work with Sean Mannion. He is interested in coming to Philly.
Ole?
Yeah.
Which Greg Olsen?
Vegas. L.A.
Yeah, he worked with us.
Correct.
Not
Greg
Olsen
not
doing
the
game.
broadcaster.
Yeah.
No, Ole's good. Ole's an old vet, and he's really, really good. I worked with him in Vegas.
Excellent.
See you guys.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate
There you
it.
go. A little extra insight there for you. Mike Mayock here on the Sports Bash. All right, so keep it locked. We got that for you all day.
Off and
Stuff
running.
like that. It's Philly Sports Guy in the house. There you go.
Yeah.
Boy, Jamie, the Philly Sports Guy. We've got so much happening. So we got Kevin Nagandi coming up here in like 20 minutes. So we'll do that. We got the trade. Jared McCain got traded. We'll get you up to date on that. We'll put all the information together. Got this news on Greg Olsen. Donovan McNabb is set to join us at noon here,
That'd be
3 o'clock back home. So 3 o'clock for the people back in Jersey. Donovan McNabb will be joining us. Plus, we talked to Jeff Garcia. We're trying to kind of map out where we have time to kind of plot that in.
Yeah.
But you do not want to miss our conversation with Jeff Garcia or Romeo Dobbs, the very talented Green Bay wide receiver. All right, that's all coming up live at Radio Row. It's the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
And it just keeps getting better.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
what? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, back on Radio Row. I've just been alerted that Brandon Graham is walking around. I'm going to put you on that one.
Yes, I'll find BG.
We've been told that Brandon Graham – by the way, I was pointing at you earlier that Chris Long was there from the Greenlight Podcast, and obviously that's one of Josh's go-to pods we use a lot on the show. There's Tyler Lewan from Busted with the Boys, by the way. I know that's another podcast that's usually in the rotation. But look at one of the things here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump on real quick. Yeah, Schweim was calling me. Chris Long was walking by. We had Mayock coming up.
Schweim is fourth on the list of seriously. And we're saying, hey, I'm blowing you off because Schweim was calling me.
Well, then Mayock showed up, and I had to handle that whole thing.
We're
rocking and rolling here at Radio Row, to say the least.
And just to set the scene, we're at one of the the main intersection of Radio Row. So we have a lot of interaction going on. You'll see us constantly if you're watching the stream. Right over there is where there's a lot of people interacting and meeting each other, players meeting other players and saying hi. So we're constantly on looking at all that. It's very busy today.
Well, today's generally everybody's first kind of day. We got in yesterday. Well, you guys got Monday, and then yesterday you get here, but it's very quiet. You're just kind of setting the equipment up. We have the YouTube channel, so you can watch the show on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. We're also on the X platform at Mike Gill Show. So you can watch all the interviews and all the guests and everything that's coming. But what is really worth watching generally is what's walking behind us a lot of times.
Yes.
Because we happen to be sitting next to the nightcap, which is Shannon Sharp and
Ocho
Cinco back there. So they've got all sorts of, people walking through here. And, interestingly enough, Fred Warner from the Niners was just behind us a little while ago. And you would wonder, the Eagles obviously played the Niners, and Warner did not play in that game. He didn't play the following week either with that injury that he had against the Seahawks, and they just got blasted by the Seahawks. And here are the Seahawks now. We asked Mayock, and we were asked about the longevity, and he said it's not the quarterback as much as the coach and the GM being on the same page first and foremost. And then, of course, you need that quarterback. But he said that is the number. Were you surprised by that?
Yes, a little bit, because I really think everybody puts a premium on the quarterback being what you need most. But how do you think, if you were to spin that analysis forward, how do you think the relationship between the head coach and the GM is in Philly?
And that's a good question. I think if you listen to what Howie said at the end of the season in that press conference, he went out of his way to say elite in many different categories, right? And it had nothing to do with coaching. All the things that he said, that he basically said, hey, I want to stop this conversation and let me interject. How he does that sometimes when he wants to get a point across. And that his assertion of Nick Sirianni is not he's a great play caller, he's a great play designer, he's great at this, he's great at that. It is all of the things that I think fans disregard. Right? He's elite at organization, attention to detail, holding people accountable. That's one thing that I think you got to pay attention to. Look at the Flyers right now. One of the things that's going on is, hey, there's Derrick Henry, by the way. You see Derrick Henry. Man, he is a huge
I would not want
to
tackle that man.
Oh, my gosh. One of the things that you talk about, though, is holding people accountable. You see what's going on with the Flyers in that the Mitchkov situation is a disaster because they're not on the same page. Is Tocchet holding them accountable? Is that why Mitchkov's not playing? Is he missing meetings? Is he late to meetings? Is he not going to treatment? That kind of stuff. Are you holding your players accountable? And is that one of the reasons why – is that Saquon Barkley, by the way?
No.
Oh, Amon-Ra St. Look a little like Saquon Barkley for a second. You'll be able, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see right behind us.
Yeah.
Go Birds, go Birds. That was Amon-Ra St. Brown, by the way.
Boy, I wish they could get him.
walk behind. Oh, maybe Nick will try to work some magic. But that's the thing, is are the Flyers holding them accountable? And if it's because they're not holding them accountable, is that leaking out to the ice now, and you're seeing some of the situations that they have going on?
Yeah, the accountability is a big thing. I mean, and when that's there, everything really runs smoothly. When it's not, that's when you get the problems. And I think I would say that if we pivot back to the Eagles with that, was everybody being held accountable on that Eagles offense? Was that really consistent? Because I don't think that was the case. And I think that's why there was it was very disjointed and didn't feel smooth. And the Flyers have that issue. The Eagles, I thought, had that issue offensively. We'll see if they fixed it. But when you don't have that accountability going both ways, it becomes a problem.
You know that for sure. But so I would ask you, you're in that locker room a lot, and you cover them more than I do, obviously. Do you look at Nick and Howie as what Mayock was suggesting there?
I don't see them right now. I think it's really Jeffrey and Howie that are on the same page more than anybody else in the front office and including the coaches. I think what happens, though, is, for example, I think there is a little bit of a connection between Howie and Vic. Vic, what do you need defensively? Okay, I'll try to go get that. I don't always feel like there's that great cohesion between Nick and and Howie.
So, see, I kind of disagree a little bit, but as I said, you're in there a lot more. I see Howie going out of his way to make sure, because he knows people are questioning his coach, right? He knows that people are questioning the coach, and he wants to make it clear that you're looking at the coach as a play caller and a play designer and all of the things that you think of a coach. I'm telling you what we value in our head coach.
Well, remember when they wanted, after Chip, it was all about culture. They wanted culture back in the building, and Doug sort of helped bring that. I think Nick furthered that a little bit. But now they've reached this point where they're an elite organization, as viewed by many teams, including a guy who was a GM here like Mike Mayock, right? This is the cream of the crop. They are an elite organization, but you don't just get to stay there because you want to call yourself that. You could fall off of that real fast. That ledge can be steep. And so you look at this team, and I'll ask you this, Mike. So I'll counter your point about Nick and Howie and say, how do you think it makes Howie feel to know they brought in a guy to be offensive coordinator who's believed to be on the fast track to be a head coach?
Well,
because what it says to me is,
it's
hey,
a fair question.
If you're not doing the job next year, Nick, if you don't get us past that first round, rather than have somebody come pluck Mannion and take him to be a head coach, perhaps. Yeah. We'll just elevate him.
Look, that's a good point. Is how does Sirianni feel that he now has this new young head coach? I don't want to say new young head coach. I'm talking about this new young, possible hot head coaching candidate lingering now. And the question would be too: how much say did Nick have on the hire, and how much say did Howie have on the hire? Did Nick say, "Hey, this is the guy I want to hire," and then Howie says, "Let me talk to him." Blah, 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 blah.
I think no. I think what happens is Howie and Jeffrey Lurie are setting up the interviews sort of in conjunction with Nick. And then it's like, hey, Nick, we have an interview today. Why don't you come in and sit on this? And I think they value his opinion to a certain extent, but I think ultimately, in my opinion, it was Howie and Jeffrey making the ultimate final decision.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout, and we come back. We're scheduled to talk to Kevin Negandhi, Sports Center. Of course, you guys know Negandhi's been a long-time Philly guy. I want to get his thoughts on the state of the Philly teams. Jared McCain, by the way, just got traded. They pick up 4 draft picks, including a first-round pick, and they drop a lot below the luxury tax. So that is an interesting trade there.
I still think there's another shoe that's going to
drop.
We'll
find out. We'll find out. We'll be keeping our eye on it. All right, coming up, Kevin Negandhi is scheduled to join us. And we always say scheduled to join us because they give us times. And then if you see, well, we're going to go on social media. So follow us at Mike Gill Show, at 973 ESPN on Instagram and on Twitter X. We'll show you some of the craziness that's going on. But if you're driving around the car, we're on the YouTube channel, 97.3 ESPN, on the X platform, at Mike Gill Show. You can watch it all live. Negandhi coming up.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, welcome back. So some of the big news today, Jared McCain, by the way, traded by the Sixers. They get a first-round pick in the trade with Oklahoma City. Now, obviously, it is not the Oklahoma City pick. It is a 2026 Rockets first-round pick and 3 second-round picks. But when you're trading with Oklahoma City, your picks are going to be at the bottom of the draft list here. So I don't look at those picks as like, wow. I look at those picks and wonder what's next.
Exactly. I think you have to. And this is interesting because, as you have pointed out, it got him under the tax. But it was just about a week ago when Joel Embiid had said after a game, like, let's go for it. Like, pay the tax. Basically telling the ownership, let's stay above the tax and let's go for it.
Yeah.
And I think there's some frustration there from Embiid, of course. He's finally playing, back to pretty close to, some really good basketball for him. And if he feels his team actually has a shot to go, I'm sure – I don't think Joel's probably very happy they traded McCain today.
Well, and McCain and Embiid had just started to kind of get on like a little something page here. Like they started to have a little flow together, it seemed like, as we were at the game last night, and McCain barely played, and Embiid didn't play. But when McCain has been shooting the ball better, that's been the big thing, is he's actually been shooting the ball much better in the last 3 or 4 games here. Had 4 of 8 from 3 the one day, hit a bunch of threes the other day. The other night he only took 2 shots, he made a 3. He seems to find his rhythm. I've been on record, I like McCain. I think he's an outstanding shooter, and I think you're starting to see, as he started to get some more playing time, that he was starting to find a little bit of a rhythm.
Well, what bothers me is the sense that you feel like there's a changing of the tide, right? From the older to the younger. It's and the young nucleus that they've kind of had, like especially with VJ Edgecombe now and Tyrese Maxey. It's the future of your franchise. You could almost lump McCain in there. He's a former first-round pick, right? But heck, he got out to a great start last year in his rookie season and then got hurt. But I think you could have built something around those 3 guys. So that's where I say, okay, this doesn't feel great to lose McCain today, but there's about 24 hours left for Daryl Morey to see if he flips this into something else.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are, Adam Kaplan is here, Adam from Inside the Birds, and he just came over to our table, and he's a huge Sixers fan, and he was saying, to him, he's like, they don't need all these picks. They don't need the picks for like the 28th pick in the draft. Maybe they're trying to stockpile picks to do something else. A buddy of mine texted me, a little while ago. I'm starting to get, all these people are checking in. He says, I hate it. We don't have any guards, and you're trading McCain, who's starting to come around a little bit.
Right.
I tweeted out the other night, McCain, the version of McCain that you've been getting is the one that you can complement because they need shooters so bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you have to have is the shooting, especially when, and it's obviously if you can get to the playoffs with a relatively healthy Joel Embiid, I got to believe he's not really taking these days off. There aren't really the back-to-backs going on there, but you need to have that shooting presence. And without McCain in there now, it's going to be interesting to see what they try to do. I think they're going to try to, get Dominic Barlow to be more involved. Quentin Grimes, you probably bring him back next year now. But it's about this year. And the East, I think what frustrates Sixers fans, Mike, is you look at this and you say the East is pretty wide open. And the Sixers might have been just a player away from really making a run. And now you have to ask yourself, are they now 2 players? You gave away a part of a piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah, and one guy is Derek Bodner, who covers the Sixers and has been really good. He's very, analytical. And he said 2 thoughts on the McCain trade. If the trade happened to get under the luxury tax with the guys at the draft pick capital coming back as a distraction, it's meh. There were easier ways to duck the tax, and the Houston pick isn't likely to net anyone as good as McCain.
No.
He said if it's a trade to set up the next trade and loosen some restrictions, then I can see that logic.
That's where I think we're all sitting now in limbo, and it's not a fun place to be, right? Because here's the question: do you trust? I think this is a great question we keep coming up with, and I'd be curious for your answer. Do you trust Daryl Morey right now, Mike?
I do. I like Morey. I think Morey has done a very good job. I didn't say great. I don't say elite. I know people say he's never won anything. People, I think, because he's a very polarizing guy. But I think with what he came here to do and what he kind of was handed, I think he's done a very good job of getting bad contracts out. Now, people say, but he gave bad contracts to McCain, to Embiid and George. I understand that he's given out those two big deals. But I think everything else that he's done, he's drafted very well. McCain, that he drafted, who I like, Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Bona. He's found guys, Barlow. He's done a very good job on the peripherals, but much like Howie Roseman and what Mike Mayock said, he's just calling people because he's bored sometimes.
That's a great insight, I think, on Howie. But then, is Daryl Morey doing similar stuff? And does he have this deal done knowing that there was some pieces he needed to complete another deal? I think that first-round pick is very interesting because I agree with you. Houston's pick is not going to give you a very high pick in the draft. Because Houston's sitting fourth in the West right now, and assuming unless they collapse, you've got – it's not going to be a great pick. So – you're looking at this and saying, okay, what can they turn that first-round pick from Houston now into to potentially get another piece?
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. So there's really, some breaking news there, which means, by the way, the deadline's not till tomorrow.
Right,
so,
we're going to be continuing to talk about this.
Right, and by the way, Anthony Davis got traded to the Wizards. What are the Wizards thinking, trying to bring on a guy like Anthony? If you're Anthony Davis and you woke up today and they told you you're going to Washington, oof.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so there's going to continue to be more. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another trade or two while we're sitting here on the air.
So John Clark says, it's my understanding from the Sixers' perspective that helps them convert Barlow and gives them future assets. The Sixers believe they have good guard depth behind Maxey and Edgecombe with Quentin Grimes. Ooh, I don't like that explanation.
So again, I say, do you trust Daryl Morey to whether this is the only thing done or go back up real quick. What was that?
Yeah, that's more with the Thunder.
Yeah. So
I will say I am not a fan of trading Jared McCain for the pick. That to me doesn't do much for me. I like McCain. I think this team lacks a McCain. He's the best shooter on the team. He was just coming around. That would be my takeaway. So, all right, when we come back, we were scheduled to talk to Gandhi. He is still talking to a station over there. We are scheduled to talk to Donovan McNabb coming up next. So when we come back, we are hopeful, and I know McNabb is here. I have seen him walking around. We are scheduled to talk to Donovan McNabb coming up next. Maybe we'll fit Nagandi in after McNabb. But when we come back, stay tuned. We are scheduled to talk to number 5. He will always love you.
Yes.
That's coming up here on Radio Row, the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. And you can watch all of the Radio Row interviews on our YouTube channel, 97.3 ESPN on YouTube, at Mike Gill Show on the X platform. When we come back, number 5 joins us on the other side. Stick around.
home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him. It's a sack.
Sixers.
Oh, baby.
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
All right, we're live on Radio Row, the Sports Bash, Hour 2, thanks to our friends at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine, Key Acura of Atlantic City, the Nizam's Indian Restaurant, my spot in Egg Harbor Township. All right, let's get back into it. We were talking a lot. McCain got traded, the Eagles. We got Jeff Garcia coming up a little later. We recorded that earlier, and he told us some stuff you want to hang around for. Right now we got Kevin Nagandi's here, and he's got to leave us in a couple of minutes, because he's going to do Sports Center Live.
Center Live,
I feel like filming is like everything's doing, everything's happening like record it, but the time change is throwing me off. So you're going to do Sports Center at some unknown location.
Wherever Sports Center is, they're going to take me there. Okay, I'm sure we're going to have a great view. We're going to be live doing Sports Center at 6 o'clock. Got Justin Jefferson going to join us on this show. We're live there tomorrow. We're live there Friday at 6 p.m. And then Monday we do the handoff, which I'm not sure if you guys have seen. ESPN's going to have the Super Bowl next year. We've been very quiet about it. We do the final payoff on Monday, live from Disneyland, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Sports Center with the Super Bowl MVP.
Nice.
Wow. So it's a crazy time. I just asked you, did you go to the Sixer game last night? Was your intention to go and the traffic made you change your mind?
So I landed at like 6:40, and I was like, maybe. And then somebody's like, you want to go? And I'm like, sure. And then the traffic was like, we'll be good. And
our hotel is 3 miles from the arena. It took us an hour to get home.
Completely believe that.
Awful.
It's not good.
Awful. So what do you think of the McCain trade? This is like Shams put it out like an hour ago.
Yeah.
He probably had it 3 days ago.
You arm yourself, by the way, with a first-round pick. That's a promising thing down the road, especially if they can't work another deal out in the next 24 hours, I should say, in the next few hours, or in the summertime. I like Jared, but Jared's not the same since the injury. He was getting back to his shooting self, but, they've got a glut. They can get Grimes now, more opportunity. And to be honest with you, the only concern is that if the Thunder like Jared McCain, that means they know what they're doing, right?
Well, remember, they got Isaiah Joe, and he's turned out there to be a sniper. And I said, they looked at this McCain and said, this dude can shoot.
Yeah.
And the one thing the Sixers lack, they don't have anybody that can shoot.
Yeah. But they also need to have guys that can play defense.
That's
a critical thing. And you know what? He wasn't getting into the major rotations.
It felt like he was just finding himself.
Yes.
And him and Embiid had a little something going. It felt like.
Yeah.
And we were there last night, and he played very little.
Dynamic changes when you have VJ. It just changes.
So we were talking about it before you came over here. Do you trust Daryl Morey?
I do. To be honest with you, I do. Because if you look at his moves, listen, he had to get rid of Ben Simmons. For him to get James Harden, I wish they would have gotten Halliburton. I knew he was a phenomenal 19-year-old stud from Iowa State, and that Sacramento wanted to get rid of him. I wanted that. Okay, aside from you going past the James Harden thing, and you look at what he's done. He drafted Tyrese Maxey. He's aware of who VJ Edgecombe was going to be for this team and what they needed. He's done he had Jared McCain. He's done pretty well. And he's assembled this team,
I agree,
I think, in a smart way to rebuild as well if down the road.
Joel, I don't think. Did you expect Joel to find this again?
No.
Right. So where did that come from?
No one did.
Yeah.
You know what it came from? It came from a phenomenal doctor who did the same thing with Kawhi Leonard.
That's true.
And listen, it's February. Let's just talk about Joel in April.
Well, I know that's right. That's what it matters most.
People text in. I said, "Listen, get back to me in March," and he's way above.
Yeah.
I'm just saying March to see if he can get to April.
But to be honest with you, too, this is Tyrese Maxey's team.
It is,
and that's all we could ask for. Then we have Joel as a plus.
And you said you were on. I like Morey, and to answer his question, yes, he gets judged on the George and Embiid contracts, which are deemed to be bad contracts, and therefore you did a terrible job because you gave those guys those.
He had no choice with Joel Embiid. You've got to keep him no matter what. You had no choice, and you had the money. And no one could have predicted Paul George last year, or some could.
Well, I know a lot of people were not huge things of George. Before you go, I know you got your car outside.
Yeah.
The Eagles hired a complete unknown.
I'm beyond happy. You want to know why? Outside offense.
Yeah.
And you can bring in concepts that are honestly going to be successful in this day and age of the NFL, and it'll be great to see wide receivers running stuff that's not called a hitch route.
Yes, 100%.
So I'm all
Look
for
it.
Yep.
That's Kevin
Fellas,
Nagandi.
thank you.
Check him out on SportsCenter tonight. He has got a book on out of here. His
thanks,
car
Kevin.
is waiting for him outside. The emissions in San Francisco, they will get you on that. All right, there's Nagandi here. All right, we are scheduled to catch up with Donovan McNabb, and we are efforting that.
I must be the one who just everybody's got trust in Daryl Morey. I'm skeptical. I kind of need to see another move here to buy in a little more. Just getting rid of Jared McCain for a first-round pick and some second-round picks. It feels like there's some more that could be done there. And you guys are confident in Daryl Morey to get it done.
Well, and he mapped out some things. When I map these out, people just kind of like, it all goes back to the two contracts, Embiid and George. And what Nagandi just said is you got to give Embiid the contract.
But the thing with James Harden was a bit of a mess, too.
Yeah, but you know what?
Because that was his boy.
Yeah, but you know what? What happened yesterday? James Harden got himself traded again. So who was a liar this time?
Right.
Who else? Who was he blaming this time around that he wanted to be traded?
That's true.
So
That's true.
That part of it is fine. He got James Harden, and people thought, oh, my God, you got James Harden for Ben Simmons? Like, people were giving him credit for that. And now they're saying, well, you ruined that situation. I don't know that I believe James Harden, that, Daryl Morey's a liar. This is the fourth time he's got himself traded.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I can understand. Look, if you are somebody who judges the results of they did not, that Morey's never won anything and all that stuff, I said, listen, here's what I'll say about Daryl Morey. Has he won a championship? No. He had.
But don't you feel like there's a real opportunity here this year? Maybe more so than there has been. Not necessarily for a championship, but to win the East.
Yes, I would say yes and no. I would say I don't think they could beat Oklahoma City, but do I think or San Antonio? Maybe. Do I think they can win the East?
Because
they're not the favorite, but if they did something to add, yes.
That's where I think we're sitting. You're right. Need to be added.
All right, we're being told that McNabb is coming over and that he will be here momentarily. Apparently he's talking to Cam Newton.
Why would he want to talk to Cam Newton instead of us?
We got trumped by Cam Newton right now. So we are being told Earnshaw is in communication with the McNabb team. But the Morey thing, real quick, the fact that he gives – Nagandi said it. Joel Embiid is your franchise player.
You had to pay him.
I think people deem that he was cooked. He's showing you that he's not cooked.
Yeah, but again, nobody really expected this year, which when you look at Joel, it's crazy to see what he's doing because it really, especially early in the season.
That's the thing. If you didn't expect him to be this player, you would never have paid him. But I think the Sixers were confident that he could. Now, is the player Joel Embiid that you're getting right now and what he could continue to be good enough to give that contract to? I think that's the problem. I think people still say,
well, you still have, what, 3 years left? $188
Correct.
million,
Yes.
something like that?
Yes.
Can he be like this for 3 more years? Probably not.
And I don't know. And I said this year I think he'll be fine. And now the doctor who did his knee, this guy's getting all sorts of praise for not only him, also Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
So everybody's saying that this guy, whatever he did, he
works
got
some
Kawhi,
magic.
Right. He's got Kawhi Leonard back playing at an MVP level. He's got Joel Embiid back playing at a high level. I don't know. The one problem with Joel is his offense is back to where it was. He's a dominant offensive force again, but his defense is not where you had before.
Right. Shot blocker. You had to be careful when you went down into the paint against him.
Absolutely.
He's picking his spots a little more. And frankly, though, like I was watching the game the other night with my son, and the talk about how he'll dive on the floor and he'll go down, but he goes down so much. And it's like, dude, it's a regular season game. As much as I want every other player to contest for a loose ball, I don't need you doing that in a not a meaningless game, but like, come on, man.
He is the most uncoordinated, graceful. Like, that's the thing. That he's like an oxymoron of himself.
Yeah.
He is so graceful. He is so, like, the skill set that he brings for a man that size should not be able to happen. And yet he's the clumsiest, most uncoordinated guy at other times. It's almost like, how do those two worlds marry?
Yes, I completely agree. But then it's like, pick your spot. Like, know the situation. Understand how valuable you are in April and May. And a loose ball in December does not need you to dive out of bounds for it.
You know what, though? I think he has, and that's part of the problem. Like, his rebounding has not been great this year. And his defense has not been great.
The whole
this
team's
year.
been hurting because of that.
But
the rebounding stats in general.
But I think part of it is because he has been unwilling to mix it up and rebound and do all the stuff, because I think, landing and like, maybe I could be completely off on that, but I do think when it comes to like boxing out and rebound, he always gets tangled up in there, and he wants to kind of like get out of that. And I hope that come playoff time that he's a little bit more aggressive in those two areas.
Well, that's the Joel I want to see.
His offense has got back to where he is.
True. That's the Joel I want to see. I want to see the Joel who can play a regular season, do what he needs to do, take care of himself, but then when it's time, turn it up a notch and be a playoff Joel that is healthy going into the playoffs and able to play the game the way he knows how at a high level. And we haven't that's the problem. We haven't seen that because every playoffs, he's always banged up in some way, shape, or form, and we never get 100% Joel.
That's been the big problem. And as Kevin Nagandi just said to us, he's like, we want him to see what he like in April. So far, the way that the Sixers are handling this, he didn't play last night. That frustrates people. But he is playing more minutes. He's starting to play more minutes. He played 46 minutes in a game the other night. So I think the restrictions have been kind of pulled off. They're not playing him back-to-back. I don't know if that's because he can't play back-to-back or they're just –
I think they're being cautious, which I have no problem with at this time of the year, right? Because you want to have the best version of Joel you can have. And if what you need to do is to just avoid the back-to-backs, I'm all for it.
All right. So, by the way, we're trying to do like four things at once. Nick's talking to me over here. He's coordinating with McNabb, who's running a little long with Cam Newton. He is scheduled to join us when he's done.
I think we
with
should
Cam
go
Newton.
fight Cam Newton after this.
You
can take the lead.
I haven't seen.
We'll send Billy in for it.
Yeah, exactly. Billy was talking with Frank Caliendo. He's going to be on the locker room this weekend with Billy, and Billy said that apparently Caliendo did an impersonation of Billy Schwein.
That is some talent right there. You'll have to listen to that this weekend.
All right.
Billy was very excited about that.
609-403-0973. Jack in Cape May Courthouse says he thinks they're getting the Greek freak back. That's what this trade of McCain means there. Mike, did you ever find out why Pat McAfee blocked you? No, I still don't know. You were supposed to. You're boys with McAfee.
Yeah, I saw him over there. He was doing a show. I didn't get to say hi to him yet. I usually get to say hi to him every day. Yeah, why did he block you? What did you do?
I have no idea. I like Matt McAfee. I like McAfee's show. I like his stuff. So I don't know why he would have blocked me. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, Pat's pretty easygoing. I'm surprised he would block you,
Yeah,
Mike.
I don't know. All right, guys, I could see why the Sixers traded McCain for picks. Seems like the Sixers are either going to flip pick to get more reliant ball handler to back up or assist Maxey, and McCain was a good player. Not sure if he could be a good backup.
That reminds me about ball handlers. I saw something you tweeted out maybe yesterday, the day before. Everything out here, you lose track of time. About Javon Carter, who we both know as a West Virginia guy. Great ball player, comes from the Bob Huggins style. I loved that thought. He was released. Has he been picked up by anybody?
I don't think so, but the Bulls just made a trade, Colby White and somebody else, but they released Carter, and he was with the Bulls, and I'm surprised that the Bulls released him and I think the Sixers need that tough, hard-nosed,
he plays great
defensive,
defense.
defensive-minded ball handler that could obviously Oh, wow. Panarin just got traded from the Rangers to the Kings. So now you got trades happening in the NHL, too, trying to rival stuff up. But a tough-minded, on-the-ball defender who could shoot the three. Doesn't have to play a lot of minutes, 15 to 18 minutes, 12 minutes.
It'd be
whereas
a cheap
McCain
get.
needs to play the minutes.
Yeah,
to get the ROI on McCain.
That's true. Yeah. But I think Carter's an interesting point. You'd be able to get him cheap, and he can certainly give you a lot of value, I think, for what you'd get. And that keeps, again, the tax. Joel was telling them he wanted him to go for it, go over the tax. And now they're under the tax, and we'll see whether or not they stay there or if they try to make another move here.
Mike, Daryl Morey is the Bernie Madoff of GMs. The return is always promised tomorrow. Next year is going to be the year we win.
That is a great
Not
analogy.
this year. We're still working almost there. If you don't like Morey, I get
then you're not going to like this move.
But I get people don't like Morey. He's never won a championship. But that, to me, they were the contemporary to the Warriors. It was them and the Warriors, and they were right there with the Warriors. Like, they lost to an all-time great team. They had the Warriors beat twice. Chris Paul ended up getting hurt. He built teams that were good enough to beat the best team, one of the best teams in the history of the NBA, and they just came up short. They had 3-2 leads twice. Paul gets hurt, the hamstring. James Harden becomes James Harden. So we're going to blame the GM and saying, like, hey, I built a team that had a 3-2 lead in Game 7 against the greatest team of our era, and we came up short. Like, to me, I don't look at Daryl Morey and say, you were incapable. I look at that and say, man, he built a team that was right there.
Yeah, that's true. But I think you're right about right now. Daryl Morey's not a guy that really is down the middle on people. It's either you like him or you don't.
I look at what you said as very, very accurate. He's very, very polarizing.
Yeah, polarizing is a good word for it, yep.
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Live video on the X platform, YouTube. We're streaming all of our conversations on the YouTube channel. You can watch them on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel, on the X platform, at Mike Gill. We are... I don't know. Everything's happening right now. Earnshaw left me for a second. I don't know where he's at, what we're supposed to be doing next. He's got the list of what's coming up. But we'll get to that. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
97.3 ESPN. We're on Radio Row in San Francisco. My brain is all over the place. Bo Allen's with us here, former Eagle, Greenlight Pod. And you guys are filming the pod or recording the pod or live on the pod. I don't know who's live, who's recording. The time change has us all screwed up.
I'm with you there, man. I don't even know. But, yeah, we're ripping out all sorts of media content this week, doing interviews, running into old friends, teammates, and just generally having a good time talking football. So.
Just being like at this event kind of like see how crazy it's gotten, and the game is like – not even like on anybody's mind, it seems like.
Well, that's the thing about Super Bowl week, especially like, when we were in the Super Bowl, which was actually 8 years ago today.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
today.
Yeah, so I just saw BG and Chris Long, and we were talking about
BG's supposed to be coming over here right now, everybody listening.
He's meandering. But it is such a circus, and obviously a media circus, and there's so much buzz involved with all that. And you're like, hey, guys,
but like when you played in the game, you guys are doing your thing, and then this stuff's all going on. Like you have no no.
There is a lot of that too when you're playing. Like you have media obligations, and you do all that, and there's family in town, and all sorts of stuff going on. And it's like, hey, guys, I have the most important game of my life coming up here in like 3 or 4 days. Like I need to focus a little bit.
But you guys were in Minneapolis, cold as could be outside.
I'm actually from Minnesota as well.
Did you like that?
I loved it, but at the same time, it's a massive distraction. It was really cool, but
playing
it's like,
in your hometown.
Yeah, just so many people coming out of the woodwork looking for stuff.
I remember seeing you guys walking around the mall.
Yeah, exactly. The mall's
you had nothing else to do.
Well, imagine so this is small this year. This is crammed. That year we were in the Mall of America's food court.
Yeah,
and it was just like
it's like -6 degrees. Everyone's walking around the Skyway, Minneapolis, and. Yeah, it was fun.
So you mentioned about catching up with BG and seeing him around. Were you surprised he came back and played again this year?
I loved it. I mean, I honestly was not that surprised. And we were joking.
Would you be surprised if he came back and played again next year?
Not at all. Not at all. But he was one of the most efficient pass rushers. I think at one point he had like 3 sacks and like 12 snaps, or something like that. So one thing that was interesting though is just had BG was kind of a mentor to me when I was a rookie and. An older player and was took me under his wing and stuff like that. And now come full circle, he was just asking me 5 minutes ago about what it's like being retired and how that transition is, and I was kind of telling him my experience. It's just kind of a funny little full circle moment where I'm like, how is this guy playing longer than me where I retired before him and I'm giving him advice? It's pretty incredible.
I look at the Eagles defense this year had a great year, but were you disappointed in the playoff? As much as their offense was a problem, you're at home, you have a lead in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't get the job done. Was that surprising and disappointing?
Well, I mean, I think it is disappointing with the talent that's on the roster, just the way the season ended. I don't think anybody would be too shy to say that. I loved watching this defense. I think, especially the front seven defensively, is such a talented unit with so many playmakers. I mean, I was just talking about Jordan Davis for a while, and Morrow, and BG, obviously, and Jalen Carter. And you just, for them to lose to the 49ers is a team that's been ridden with injuries, especially offensively.
Yes.
And
then see what happened to San Francisco the very next week.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything.
Right. They ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. But, I mean, it's hard to not be disappointed when you have a team that's talented and loses in the playoffs. I think everybody wanted more, and I'm kind of part of that category.
So when you, as a defensive guy, when you were watching the Eagles, obviously I'm sure you still do a lot.
Yeah.
Was that offense at all predictable in your mind? Did you feel like you could?
Yes and no. I definitely think it's hard to say. Like, let's keep in mind I'm a nose guard. I don't think I was a nose guard. I don't know if I'm fully qualified to talk about the intricacies of offensive play calling, but there are points where I feel like it became very predictable, and some of that is the nature of the NFL. You get guys who are really talented at running go balls or throwing a deep ball or whatever it might be, and you kind of go to that well a little too often. But obviously, I think. The opinion amongst everyone in the building is that the offense wasn't good enough and didn't produce, and that's why they're bringing in a whole new regime offensively. It was predictable at times, and I think that it leads to some of the frustrations that everyone had about the offense.
Yeah, and they're bringing in a coach who has very little experience.
Yeah.
As the players, when you see that, obviously you have to respect the guy. Not that you wouldn't respect him, but do you find that Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the Super Bowl? Hey, you're going to work with a guy now who has 2 years coaching experience, never called a play.
Yeah, well, fun fact, he was actually my first sack I ever had in college. Was
really?
Against Sean at Oregon State.
He was Oregon State.
I just kind of realized that the other day. But, yeah, I mean, it's I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Because obviously you want to bring in, someone with a fresh outlook who's going to have their fresh approach to the offense. But at the same time, you have the caveat of someone not being that experienced. The nice thing is they also brought in Brizard, right, from Tampa.
Yep.
Yes.
I actually, played for the Bucs. So I live in Tampa now and have a lot of friends on that team. And I think he definitely, had some trial by fire, in Tampa as a play caller last year. He will be able to be a shoulder for Sean to lean on and will be able to provide some experience. So, listen, it's pretty early to talk about. I don't think anyone really knows what kind of offense it's going to be or what it's going to be. Obviously,
that's for sure.
Just kind of is in development now. So I'm excited. I think
that's been the big thing.
Yeah.
And we're talking with Bo Allen, by the way. You can check out Bo and Chris Long on the Greenlight Podcast, which, by the way, we use the audio on our show a lot to react to some of the things that you guys say. So,
any takes we had that are pretty memorable? Or
my producer back at the station, he probably could think of some and pop in if some. But we do use a lot of the cuts and reaction of hearing you and Chris talk about this team throughout the course of the year because obviously your connection there. But, part of the conversation a lot this year was what is up with this offense and like the talent that they have. It's perplexing, and you're hoping that is it Jalen, is it Nick, is it this? He can't. That's been like the big the $50,000 question here is whose offense is this and why is it not better?
Yeah, I mean I think. Like I was saying earlier, it's also especially frustrating when you just look at the talent that's there. I think the answer, I guess, short answer is I think it's all the above, man. One area that I was especially disappointed in, just with my background and how I watch football, is the offensive line, I think, underproduced this year, which led to a lot of the struggles with the offense. Landon was banged up at times. Lane obviously was injured. Cam Jurgens, I love Cam. I think he's tough as nails, and it just doesn't feel like he's been the same since some of the back injuries that he had. So that's one area that I'm excited, for them to kind of shore up a little bit, really just get healthy. And I think that'll kind of work wonders for the run game, and it remains to be seen what the new offense is going to look like. But I think, in my opinion, one of the fundamentals of a good football team, especially for the Eagles over the last 5-10 years or whatever it might be, is having a good offensive line. It just makes everything easier.
For sure.
You can
Going back to your team.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's been kind of
that's where I think the emphasis needs to be. I know Stout. I have so much respect for him as a coach. I know he's going to get those dudes right. Just got to get healthy and get the O-line cooking. I think that'll really kind of lead the way for the rest of the offense.
So I wanted to ask you, like we had kind of circled back to your time at the Super Bowl and the one you guys won. You were the ones that won it first in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we sure did. Don't ever forget it.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Take us behind the scenes. Like, is there something that people don't know about? When did you know you were going to win the game? What happened afterwards? What was it like when you were getting ready to go down the parade route?
I thought we were going to lose the game, man. Like, I'm sitting there defensively. I'm like, we cannot buy a stop. We cannot stop Tom Brady and Gronk, and we're going to do something on the Greenlight Podcast with Julian Edelman later this week. And it was an offensive battle, man. And we were a good defense. I'm sitting there on the sideline, like, everyone in Philly is going to hate us because we cannot get a stop. And then BG, God bless him, got that huge play, that sack, forced fumble, and I remember just blacking out, celebrating so hard. And when I came to, I was like out on the field, past the numbers, like chest bumping people and going crazy. So it's such a blur, man. It feels like a lifetime ago. Obviously, such a formative memory for me. But it's so fun. Like 8 years, perfect excuse to go back and look.
I can't believe it was on this day.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, so fun excuse to go back and look at some of the photos on social media and just kind of relive the glory.
Speaking of social media, Greenlight Pod is a social media success. How's that fun? Is that kind of? Are you surprised at like the way this whole thing is just kind of taken off?
I don't know. Like, I think the whole thing is we just are guys that obviously are love football, and just kind of talking with BG about this a second ago. But we. When you get done playing, you miss hanging out with the guys and talking about football, and that's all it is, try to create that locker room atmosphere.
How was your appearance on the Jason Kelce show?
Oh, that was fun, man. I did the late-night show with Kels, and I never really know what that guy's going to get me into. I've been doing a lot of stuff with him and Garage Beer lately, which is fun. They promised me.
He just bought into Hank Sauce down where we live.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hank Sauce.
Yeah.
They sent me a bunch of that. That's some phenomenal hot sauce.
One of the owners, my girlfriend has a craft business, and they're always situated right next to us.
Yeah.
I saw him the other night, and he was saying about how Jason's been so cool. So do you head down to Seattle and hang out and do the whole little
I've been to Seattle quite a bit for Kels, and some of that is with his Eagles Autism OD event. and some of it is just hanging out with my buddy. So it's good, but I've had my fair share of hot sauce down there. For sure, too.
How much fun is it? How much fun is it seeing what guys do after the game? I mean, you see what Jason's doing.
Yeah.
He was even at calling the hockey game the other night, the Winter Classic. And, you see what Brandon's doing, then he comes back, and you've got Chris and yourself.
And then you got Fletcher doing some racing and hunting. And
Dude, Fletcher, a couple of years ago, we had him here, and he was just like, I'm done. Like, he went from football mode to the other mode, and was all camo, and was like, I'm ready to go out, and it was awesome.
It is fun. I mean, it's you got to make a lot of efforts to catch up with guys. That's one of the reasons the Super Bowl is so fun. Like, I walked into Radio Row and was like, a little overwhelmed. Immediately saw BG and just huge smile on my face. It's great to see what guys get into when they get some free time and opportunity to pursue other passions outside of football. Like, dude, you'll never meet a more interesting group than guys in the locker room. So it's so cool to see what they get into.
It's I think it is a lot of fun for us to cover. A football locker room is always
you get a wide cast of characters.
You do every year, and it changes a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting dynamics and some real characters. I love it.
Well, Bo Allen, everybody, it was great to catch up. Super Bowl champion, Wisconsin University.
Man. Thanks for having me.
And Jersey Shore Hank Sauce fan.
Yeah.
Bo Allen.
Appreciate y'all. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Thanks, Bo.
Greenlight Podcast. Check that out on all podcasting platforms with Chris Long and, of course, that man right there, Bo Allen. We appreciate you. So, all right, here's what we got going on. McNabb is coming over. He is taking the seat right here. We got a little table snafu.
Oh, you go to the wrong one?
We were sharing the table, and they're number 80. We're also number 80. And the number 80 is over there. But they are bringing Donovan over. So we're going to keep it right here. Donovan McNabb is coming up. By the way, Brandon Graham, we were told he was coming over. There was a little snafu there, and Brandon Graham is not coming over now. And but Donovan McNabb is. So this is the way that you put the pieces together, and you just kind of like plug them all in and say, here we go, here we go, here we go. We're going to be talking to number 5.
Yeah.
And here we go.
What's up, 5?
Right, here we go.
What's up?
Mr.
Good to see you.
McNabb is in the house. How are you, sir? It's great to see you again. All right, we are live, by the way, so everybody out there on the radio here in Philly. We are in Atlantic City, Philadelphia.
Yes,
we are. Great Donovan McNabb.
How we doing?
We're doing great, buddy. How are you? It's been a while.
Doing outstanding.
You did your show years ago when you were doing the radio show from our studio a bunch of times, and it was always great to catch up with you.
Yes, sir.
You love getting now. The Eagles aren't here.
Right.
They were here last year.
Correct.
You look back at this event. We were just talking to Bo Allen about when he won in 2017. Noticing all this stuff going on while the game is happening from your game against the Patriots, that all this stuff is happening, all the interviews, the mixing up of the tables?
Not really. I mean, I think for a player, you don't have to go through all this. For the player, it's you sitting probably what stadium that you're playing in or wherever, and you're doing the media day, where you're sitting there with your own booth and having to answer questions that don't pertain to football. For me, I look at it in the sense of, being an alum, guy who's played the game, going through media roles, seeing a lot of familiar faces, putting ourselves in a position where we are right now. I think the Eagles will be back. I think that we'll get back. They'll have to make some changes and make some tough decisions. But it's about the key additions throughout this offseason as well as during the draft.
So how often did you have to change offenses and what Jalen's going through right now? I mean, this is
nobody has have to do with Jalen.
No, but how about if you had to do it once or twice in your entire? You went to Washington and then Minnesota, having to learn new offenses. He has to do it every year. Is that something that it would be tough to grow as Donovan McNabb, Eagles quarterback, when you were here, if you didn't have the same offense your entire time here?
Absolutely. I think for all quarterbacks, it's a struggle if you have to do that, because it's a relationship-based type of deal where you have to trust the guy who's calling the plays, trust the plays that are there for you to be in your game plan, trust the guys that are outside understanding what they're supposed to do, making sure the offensive line is blocking who they're supposed to block due to blitzes or defensive fronts that you see. And then at the end of it all, you got to be relaxed and just go play your game. And that's hard to do. That's hard as any quarterback because you can't just be prepared all throughout the week, go through your great practices, go through your walkthrough, and you're ready for the game. Now it's different terminology. It's different slide schemes. It's different combinations in the passing game. It's different run footwork. It's different things that you got to be faced with. That's why I give a lot of credit to Jalen, because it just hasn't been in the NFL. This was in college too. I mean, think of the offensive coordinators that he had in college, and then now coming into the league where he's had 5 offensive coordinators.
I think this is going to be 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, it's one every year.
But this is what I'm saying.
7.
And so
7.
It's unbelievable for people, and the criticism that he gets, because it's like every offense he starts to get comfortable with, it changes. And I won't say that every offense changed, because I think some have stayed the same. It's just been different play calling and different preparation due to the quarterback.
Sure. Now, you mentioned a little bit ago about tough decisions. Mm-hmm. You went through a thing with T.O. back in the day, and, of course, now A.J. Brown he's had his moments. You mentioned tough decisions. Do you think that A.J. Brown is that tough decision? Is it time to let him go, or do you think with the new changes he needs to stay and they can let that grow?
I think he's a part of that tough decision. There are other tough decisions that they got to make. And, is this something that you feel like you can build off of? Is this something you think can work in your favor? Because, again, when it comes to decisions, when it comes to NFL, most personnel, they're just thinking of year-to-year base. The money-wise is, it is what it is until it starts to become one that it's a topic of conversation in the city. And then when it becomes a strong topic, then all of a sudden it's a strong decision that's made. But a lot of that started by within. But again, it's for me, when I look at it, I think you have to figure out what you're going to do with one A.J. Brown. You have to decide what you're going to do defensively, because they need help defensively. You got to think of what you're going to do if you do decide to move on from A.J. Brown. Who's going to step into that role? Because Devontae's your number 1 guy. You're going to need a solid number 2 and 3. What do you do with Dallas? Is he going to be back?
Right.
What are you going to do with the offensive line? The offensive line's been banged up. They're a little older. You got to figure that out. And so there's a lot of decisions that comes not just about A.J. Brown, but this is overall. This is what happens when you make the Super Bowl or you lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and obviously the T.O. McNabb
that's
era.
That's over. Ain't no need to hard.
No, I'm saying, but that was something that now you're seeing it again. Is it Jalen and A.J.? Can they coexist? Like, it's crazy. Like,
it's funny, isn't it?
It is kind of funny.
But it's a different narrative now.
It is.
Everything that I was trying to tell everybody now, all of a sudden, maybe people really think about what I said.
Yeah, well, and listen, the nature of this is that Hurts.
Might as well say it.
It's very polarizing. It's very polarizing himself, though. Are they good?
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I was always
the same conversation.
I was always a McNabb. I got blasted for years for saying, that I was a McNabb guy, and you were polarizing as the quarterback in Philadelphia. But that position is,
we're the franchise quarterback. We're the face of the franchise. There's a reason that's the definition of what we do in our position. We've had success at that position, and so, yes, we get the criticism, unwarranted at times, and we get a lot of the credit. But, again, when certain situations happen, people just want to jump on that ship.
Yeah.
Until that ship sails.
Well, they pick
and it comes back again.
Because, Donovan's here, the team is there. You get this guy, the team goes there. And I said, if you would have given McNabb a player like Owens his whole time, he probably would have won 2 Super Bowls by now. Not to discourage any of the guys you had.
I was about to say, let's not discredit the guys we had.
No, but it popped when you got a guy who played at that level.
True.
So I was like, McNabb comes in, it's not all of a sudden he's a 4,000-yard passer. He got a guy that can help him become a 4,000-yard passer.
Well, you need that, and that's where the game is. That's what you look at all the top quarterbacks in my era.
I've wanted to have this conversation with you for years.
You look at all the top quarterbacks in my era. Peyton Manning had Marvin. He had Dallas Clark. He got Reggie Wayne.
Yep.
They had the one receiver out of slot that was from Ohio State. Then they had Cooley. And they had guys.
Yep.
Tom Brady didn't become Tom Brady till he got Randy. And then Randy was Wes Welker.
They help.
And Gronk.
Then Gronk and Hernandez.
But that's also you acknowledging, hey, I need help too. Michael Jordan needed Pippen. I'm just saying, like, everybody needs. You can't just say, I'm good enough to do it all by myself. Yes, I acknowledge I could use a player like T.O. can help me.
Yes.
And Jalen also, many people say, well, you're only good because you have A.J. Brown.
Right. Well,
it's an
I won't say it because Devontae's good. Devontae is solid.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned about being the quarterback in Philadelphia, that franchise quarterback. That's a hat that you have to learn how to wear, I'm guessing.
Correct. You got to be built different.
How is Jalen doing wearing that hat from your perspective?
Doing fine. He's doing fine. He's handling it very well. I think a lot of people now are to the point where they hear his cliches, so to speak, and they're like, this is just Jalen being Jalen. But look, people need to understand, I said this from the very beginning. You can roll the tape on that and rewind and play it again. When he was drafted, and everybody jumped on me, and they, as usual, what is he talking about? He just doesn't like Carson Wentz. When I said they drafted Jalen, I said he's the grown man in the room. He's not coming in here to shake hands and kiss babies. He's coming in here like Russell Wilson did out in Seattle. He's coming in to learn the offense, ingratiate himself in that playbook, get an understanding with the guys, and he's going to end up being the guy. I said he's the grown man in the room. This guy went through I don't know how many coordinators in college where he ended up with the so-called QB guru out in Oklahoma, became a Heisman Trophy candidate, took the Oklahoma to the BCS playoffs. Now, they lost against, probably one of the best teams in college football with Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers.
Yeah.
But this young man is coming in here about business. 2 years later, he's a starter. And I remember I said that, and people just dogged me for it. And then now, all of a sudden, he's a Super Bowl champion, played in 2 Super Bowls. He's won, and now people don't want to go back to what I said.
I got 2 things that you could dog me for. 1, I went to West Virginia. When you were at Syracuse, you kicked our ass every time.
Yeah, of course.
My man Amos Zaraway was a player, right?
Yes, he was.
He was a player.
He was a player.
I went to a game to watch you play in the Dome, basketball and football. My buddy went to Syracuse. Number 2, you famously did not get a great reaction on your draft day.
Correct.
The person responsible for those phone calls was an intern. I was that intern to the 30 men. I had to call them and say, you have been invited to the draft. They want a spot on a bus to drive, and obviously they were supposed to be cheering.
That was by, wasn't that bus by Angelo? Angelo had that together?
I was an intern in 1998 at that station, and they said, here's your job, kid. Go call these 30 guys, tell them they got a spot on the bus. We're going to take them to the draft. They're going to cheer for Ricky Williams.
Oh.
And they did not cheer for Ricky Williams because Ricky Williams was not the player.
It worked out pretty good for the Eagles.
But it worked out well for me.
Yeah.
Which led to working out well for the Eagles, obviously. But
4 straight championship games, NFC championship, Super Bowl. I mean,
Donovan, great
it
to
worked
see you,
out
man.
well.
Super
Thank
Bowl
you, guys.
appearance.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donovan.
All right now.
Everybody, number 5.
Yeah, baby.
By the way,
he still looks great, man.
We caught up with the other number 5. We'll talk to him a little bit later here on the Sports Bash.
Thanks, Donovan.
Thank you, Donovan. Donovan McNabb, everybody. Man, there you go. Very candid stuff from Donovan McNabb. We'll take a quick timeout unless I'm not supposed to be breaking. What I got coming up, can I take a break? All right, I got a break here. Coming up, Sports Bash live from Radio Row continues. By the way, that was all thanks to Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. My guy Mel would love to hear from Donovan McNabb. Of course, Rocco from Key Acura of Atlantic City. And, of course, Dr. Roy and the team over at the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. Thanks to Donovan McNabb. Who do we have coming up next? I don't know. Stick around and find out. More Sports Bash on the way.
It's Sixers Lakers tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
5 on the clock, back to BJ. He's got to shoot it. 3 on route. Ball game. BJ Edgecombe punctuates the dome. He knocks it in for 3.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 10 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
All right, welcome back. Sports Bash live at Radio Row. Mike Gill, Scott Grayson, our whole team's here. Nick Earnshaw, Alex Berardis is producing the YouTube today. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube. You just had Donovan McNabb, was awesome.
Yeah, great stuff from McNabb.
I think, listening to McNabb talk about not so much the T.O. and him dynamic as much as the dynamic between A.J. and Hurts. And he's saying, people always pick sides, and they generally tend to lean to the guy they perceive to be the better player.
Yeah.
Or that's what I think he was getting at.
Yeah, he was certainly leaving a lot to be interpreted, but I think he was dropping enough. It was great insight from McNabb, I thought, into that. He kind of alluded to a little bit of what he went through and played it forward to what Jalen's going through now, and basically said I think he was basically saying, identifying as being in the same spot.
Yeah. Like, you're the quarterback in this town, you're polarizing, people don't want to give you the credit. And I thought it was pretty cool, though. Like I said, you need help. He admitted, I don't want to discourage the guys I had, but
but he
Todd
went through
Pinkston and James Thrash,
and he listed some teams and what they had, what Peyton Manning had, right, and what Tom Brady had when he got Randy Moss.
Well, hopefully everybody out there enjoyed that conversation with
I thought that was a great conversation. Yeah, and the stuff Jalen's going through now, and what he said about Jalen and being the franchise quarterback and how he went through that himself. You know what that's like.
Coming up 4 o'clock, we got football at 4. Adam Kaplan is here, so he is going to jump on the set with us. And we were hearing earlier about some possible coaching changes with the Eagles. We'll see if there's any more coaching changes still to come. We talked about Mike Mayock.
Keep in mind there's still the whole question of whether or not Vic Fangio is coming back or retiring and where that's lying.
That's true. You got the uncertainty of that coming up a little bit later on this offseason. That could be it, and we'll talk to Adam about that. We'll see if he has any insight on some possible coaching change. By the way, everybody out there, it was 8 years ago today the Eagles won the Super Bowl for the first time ever.
Yeah.
We talked to Bo Allen before, so you can check that out on the YouTube channel and on the X platform at Mike Gill Show at 973 ESPN.
Interesting, he said that he thought they were going to lose until BG had that infamous strip sack.
Yeah, it's funny that you would have that mindset of like this game. We're here. We're in the middle of the game, and you're like we're gonna lose this game.
Yeah,
like, crazy, right?
Yeah, and then they ended up, of course, winning for the first time in city's history and the franchise's history, and the parade was memorable. And then they went back and won again, of course. But yeah, good to catch up with Bo. A bunch of Eagles running around. That's what's always great about here. And I think the recent success over the last, say, 2000s to 25 years here, that there's some great players roaming around that helped get this franchise to where it is.
And as we talked about, when we were in Vegas the one year, Phoenix, the Eagles had that was the year that the Eagles had that collapse.
Yeah.
And we ended up catching up with Fletcher Cox and Britton Covey and some other people that were, played for the Eagles. And when the Eagles aren't in the Super Bowl, you get they come out, and a lot of people come out here, and you get some perspective on that. And we're hoping to catch up with some of the current Eagles because there are some Pro Bowlers here that played in the game last night, whatever that game was.
Right. Cooper DeJean was roaming around here earlier. I don't know that he's still around, but
we did talk. Yeah, we got a chance to catch up with Jeff Garcia. We had that conversation with Jeff. I don't know what time we're actually going to be playing. It might actually be. We'll try to figure that out, but. That was it, and if it is on my X handle, the video of the interview with Garcia, so we have that out there. But we're going to play that on the radio later. Also, we had a conversation with Romeo Dobbs. Coming up in the next hour, Ben Watson, who played against the Eagles in that Super Bowl. We want to get their perspective of the Eagles' first Super Bowl victory on the anniversary of it. We'll do that with Ben Watson coming up in the next hour.
home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
And Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It is brought to you by the Fanatics Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. We are in San Francisco at Radio Row, and we want to thank our great sponsors in addition to the Fanatics Sportsbook, which, of course, brings you Football at 4 every day. Adam Kaplan is on Radio Row. He was also on my flight, and he is here for today's Football at 4. But before we get to Adam, we got a bunch of stuff we want to touch on for Football at 4 today. We want to thank Mel and Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine, Rocco over at Key Acura of Atlantic City, and Dr. Roy and the team over at the Nizams. Thanks to them for sending us to Radio Row this year. You just got Donovan McNabb. We got Jeff Garcia still to come, Romeo Dobbs still to come. We talked to Dobbs and Garcia, full disclosure, earlier. So we do have some nuggets we'll talk to you about with that. But one of the things that we talked about with Romeo Dobbs, who played for Sean Mannion this past year, what can the Eagles expect with the new coach? And he said he expects the receivers to – he told the receivers to expect the football a lot more.
I would hope that it's out quicker because this is a West Coast offense that they're going to run. Mike and Scott, it's a timing-based offense. The ball's got to come out. Like, that's not – you got to understand, if you talk to coaches who are working that offense, if your quarterback's taking 2-5 or more, they're going to wind up getting benched. It's not. I'm just telling you. We're going to say this now, Scott, as you and I speak to each other here. No coach who works in the West Coast offense will ever find it acceptable for the ball to come out in 2.7 in 3 seconds. Hurts, historically, he takes just about longer than any quarterback to get rid of the football.
Right.
It's not going to work.
And that's one thing that, full disclosure, Jeff Garcia kind of alluded to us was that he noticed that Jalen is missing. He's missing maybe his first read because by the time he wanted to get rid of the ball, it's already too late. He's got to move on. But instead of noticing,
he would know he played in that offense.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things he was bringing up. And so it's to your point. Let's play that forward. Can Jalen, whether it's mental or reading the defense pre-snap, can he get to the point where he can get rid of the ball that fast?
All right, Scott, I'm going to tell you a story. So John DiFilippo, the former Eagles quarterbacks coach, is a friend of Inside the Birds. So I asked Flip, I said, Coach, I actually asked him about what you just asked me. This is when Hurts started struggling in 2023 when the regression started. Because he was great in 22. Mm-hmm. When the league could not figure out how to stop him and A.J. Brown. So I said, Coach, what do you do? Like if your quarterback's not getting rid of it, he goes, you don't yell at him, you don't scream at him. You ask him what he saw, on the sideline, but you can't really coach him on the sideline. You can't do it until you have tape study. Then you go, the ball's supposed to go here. You don't ask him what, because you're not trying to insult him. Look, it's the same when he coached Carson Wentz. When Wentz came in as a rookie, Wentz came in a pro offense out of North Dakota State, but that's college football still. And you have to understand how to speak and connect with your players, Scott. So what John said is you keep repping, and have him understand how it has to come out and when it has to come out. And you show him. And you watch the practice tape together because you're seeing it. The same issue. It's not like he doesn't have this issue in practice. That's the secret sauce? Of course he does. It's not like all of a sudden he's great in practice in the game when he has the look that he wants, as you just brought up, Mike, from Jeff Garcia, that he's not seeing the same thing. He's seeing it, but he's not somehow processing. He's not the only quarterback, by the way, Mike, to ever have this issue.
One of the things that Garcia did say was it was very beneficial to him to play for Mariucci in San Francisco, Detroit, Andy in Philadelphia, Tampa Bay. Right. All the verbiage. He said, I don't know how I would have handled it if I would have had to keep changing schemes.
So that is the word. Okay, so West Coast is
By the way, Donovan also echoed the same thing, that he does think that it would have hurt his development if he had to keep changing offenses after leaving Philly and going to Washington, then Washington going to Minnesota.
So, right, because as you know, the West Coast offense is verbiage. The non-West Coast is the numbering system, the North Turner system. So it's hard. So as we go inside football, guys, here, it's kind of fun. Inside the Birds, I was telling Mike Smith, Coach Smith, who I've known casually forever, for 20-some-odd years, we've never really exchanged numbers. This is a great part about coming here.
Yeah.
But we never really knew each other outside of being in the media and, coming up to him and asking questions.
He's great. We had him on last year.
Yeah, he's great. Really good dude. But moving this along here, it's going to be a fascinating offseason for the Eagles. They have so much to do.
Jeff Garcia did tell us, and by
Yeah.
It's as big as my backyard. Half
It's
of my
better
backyard.
than this.
Oh, dude. Well, the worst one.
That
were
was
you
tight.
The one in New York City, or the
I
one
was
in New
there.
York?
Yeah,
Terrible.
We were
I tripped over Brian Billick.
We were in a hotel ballroom. All right, Adam Kaplan, Football at 4, is always here, and he's going to be joining us throughout the week. And here and there throughout the day, we'll holy mackerel, we're getting a bunch here. But when we come back, former Patriots tight end. It's the anniversary of the Eagles' first ever Super Bowl win, but Ben Watson played in the game against the Eagles in 07 when they lost, 05 when they lost that game. In Jacksonville. We'll talk to him about that and running down the great Champ Bailey. That will come up next. Stick right here. More from Radio Row here on the Sports Bash.
We have the perfect solution for sitting in traffic.
You come with me.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The Sports Bash is live on Radio Row in San Francisco. It's actually called Media Row now. It's evolved from radio stations to podcasts and videos and all sorts of crazy stuff. We're joined now by Benjamin Watson, former Patriot, among some others, but remember him from the Eagles' first Super Bowl. And Benjamin, first off, you look like you can still play.
I look this way, but if you saw my MRIs and my X-rays, and it will be a no-go.
That ends up happening, I guess, right?
I did not know that it was Media Row now. I was still saying Radio Row.
Well, I think we're a radio station, so we are more still Radio Row part of it, but they have actually changed the official name to Media Row.
Well, the more you know. I swear, you learn something new every single day. I'll be sure to tag Media Row, not Radio Row, on Instagram.
It'll catch one of these years. I think most people still say Radio Row, right?
Well, it's going to take unfortunately, it's going to take a generation of us old heads to retire.
That's what's going to happen.
And then we're going to come back here, and it's going to be all like all sci-fi and technology.
Yeah, the AI will put. Have you guys been driving around the town with the cars that don't have anybody driving them?
Waymo went right by me.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it because we're from in Philly.
Yeah,
we're supposed to get them, but they haven't been approved.
Really?
I could. Well, there's no way, Mike, that they let them drive downtown. How could they possibly?
Last night they were everywhere.
In downtown?
So I live outside Atlanta.
Okay.
Whenever I'm downtown, they're all over the place.
That's insane.
I mean, honestly, I was driving one time and I was pulling out from a Whole Foods in downtown Atlanta, and one of them was like waiting for me to turn left. Let me go first and
Did
everything.
the camera stick an arm out and wave you in?
No, I mean it's
does the Waymo get road rage?
I don't know, but last night we were in awful traffic, and the Waymo was next to us, and it's like, blinker. It's wild to see it kind of all materialize, but.
I mean, you think about it, and you think about, GPS and the technology there, and, it's scary, but also the reason why we're able to sit here right now is because there was a technological advance at some point, to be able to have us sitting here in Santa Clara talking to people way back in New Jersey where you guys are. So, it's scary, but I was talking to a woman who was actually riding in a Waymo, and she was like, that was actually one of the best rides I've ever had.
How does it work, though? Do you just open the door, get in, and how do you tell it where it's going?
Have you done one?
I have no. Heck no, I have not.
But you've seen it. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Okay.
It's like she was like, I rode over here in one of those things, and I never felt more safe.
That's crazy.
The driver wasn't talking my head off.
Well, that's true.
Like, I would have to take a Xanax to be in one of those things.
I guess so. Well, Benjamin Watson's with us, everybody. And one of the reasons we were excited to talk to you is because today, by the way, is the anniversary of the Eagles' first ever Super Bowl win.
Wow.
You were in a game where you defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a very interesting Super Bowl. You had the whole McNabb, there was the nervous, the T.O. So as the opposing team that year, what was the whole T.O. going to play, not going to play? How did you guys in New England view his disappearance from the playoffs and then potential return to that game?
Well, you've listened to Coach Belichick enough times to know that it was not a big deal, and we're going to play whoever's out there, and whoever's out there on the field, that's who we're going to deal with, and we're worried about what we have to do. And I've got enough to worry about here, going over first down, second down, third down. And we're all trying to just do our job. Did I sound like? Did I give you the?
Yeah, Bill.
Doesn't sound like a Hall of Fame answer.
Clearly not. But that's what it was. For me, it was kind of a bittersweet time. I couldn't play in the game. I tore my ACL that year, so I was out.
I didn't know.
So it was difficult for me to, see the team play and not be able to be on the field and be part of it. But that entire year, that's what it was. It was stacking win after win after win. It was about preparation. It was about not getting too high or too low. And I was able to learn as a rookie what it meant to be successful in the NFL. And really that comes down to being prepared, being able to flush the bad, get better off with the good, take care of your body, and really come to work every single, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday with kind of a fresh energy for a new week.
Could you feel that the tide was turning there in New England, that was obviously trending towards all the greatness that they went on to have?
Well, really, that situation was one thing Coach Belichick did talk a lot about was the fact that teams that had won the Super Bowl previously, or at least made it to the playoffs, usually didn't perform well the next year. And so if you remember, I was still in college, but they had won the Super Bowl the year before. And so when I get drafted, I mean, that's when they did, back-to-back Super Bowls. And so there was a big, meetings. The mantra was, let's not end up following the statistics of not being successful back-to-back years. And what are the reasons why teams aren't successful? Well, everybody gets a commercial. Everybody gets a new contract. People start feeling like, they've arrived. It becomes more I than we. And that was something that was preached over and over again. And then when you had guys like, the current head coach of the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, those types of veteran players didn't allow that to happen to that team. Rodney Harrison, Vrabel, Brewski, those guys didn't allow that to happen.
The commercials, we've seen a bunch of Saquon, A.J. Brown all offseason and then throughout the season. How much was there something to that, do you think? And getting consumed with all of that keeps you from maybe a day in the weight room here and doing those things that you need to do as a player?
It's super important. And this is a different era. Players are used to having publicity in a way that we weren't used to it. Every single player has their own TV. It's called a cell phone. Everybody has their own platform now, so it's different than it was. They're used to having these things even in college. But there is something to being able to handle success. And handling success many times is more difficult than rebounding from failure.
You mentioned Belichick, and obviously what's going on now, he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, but what is it like, the dynamic between such a high-profile coach and quarterback when you're on that team?
Every dynamic is different. I think for us, having a Tom Brady meant you never felt like you were going to lose a game. I don't ever remember feeling like I was going to lose a game in New England. We lost plenty of games, not a lot, but we lost. But it was like you always felt like you had a chance. And part of that was because in practice, you felt like you had to win every single drill. Like Tom and Vrabel used to go at it in practice. You've heard this before. They used to go at it in practice. I mean, you got the Michigan-Ohio State thing. Mm-hmm. You got the offense-defense thing. They're cussing each other out, in 7-on-7. When one of them scores, when one of them makes a stop. Like, they used to go at it. But that was how competitive our practices were. And so when you got to a game, you felt like I've been there before. Everybody's calm. We're just going to go and do what we do. We're just going to go literally, do your job. And so that was the awesome thing. The relationship is different, though, in every situation. I remember going to New Orleans and being with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Their relationship on the surface is closer than Tom and Bill. Maybe because Sean's an offensive quarterback and offensive coach and Drew's a quarterback, but they used to converse more during practice than I ever saw Tom and Bill. But part of that, I think, is because of the offense. But every situation is different. Every relationship is different. But they have to be able to communicate with each other. They got to have a trust factor with each other.
Benjamin, in your best abridged version, could you tell us what made Brady so great? Well, he's got to think about it. Must be a lot.
Because there are a lot of things that made him great.
Sure.
I mean, clearly he's 6'5". He's strong. Everybody sees his combine video, but I mean, the dude has the stuff to be the guy. Like, he's tall, got big hands, all the measurable. He's got that sort of thing. He's really smart. But what made him great is he's never satisfied. It's never enough.
So you were a first-round pick, and he is a seventh-round pick, and yet they –
sixth-round pick, yeah.
And they missed that.
Yeah, well, you can look at it two ways. You could say, man, we got him in the sixth round, and it was so great. But also, it's like, if you knew he was going to be so great, why would you let him fall to the sixth round? So,
right.
So you can't take – you can't take credit for everything. You know what I'm saying? But going back to Tom, like, every single drill, whether it was the off-season program, when he's – competing with Matt Castle to see who can run the most or lift the most weights, was a competition.
That's like Michael Jordan, man. Same thing.
Yeah. I know we got to
Wow.
let you go, but
Yeah.
when you said he wasn't satisfied, would you see that even after a Super Bowl win? Like it didn't last long before that didn't satisfy him?
There was an interview with Tom. I didn't conduct the interview. I don't know what outlet it was on, but he was talking about, the fact that he had won 6, well, I guess it was 5 Super Bowls at that time, or 4, and just it's always the next one. And that is a tough way to live at times.
Yeah.
Because you
Similar
don't,
to Jalen Hurts right now.
You don't fully enjoy things.
Yeah.
There's a balance there, but there's also this inner drive that he had that permeated the entire locker room. And my last year in New England, I came back after being gone for 9 years, and my locker was next to Tom's.
Wow.
They put the 2 old guys together. And that 1 year is when I really got to know him the most.
Yeah.
Because we were both older and more accomplished and had kids and were married, and so we could talk about all these things outside of the game. And I got to know him more as a person. He's such a genuine guy.
Well, that's
like,
cool to
he's
hear.
such a genuine,
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
loving person. And I so thoroughly enjoyed that year because I got to see him in a light that I hadn't before.
Benjamin Watson, everybody.
Yeah,
Tell
good
everybody
stuff.
out there about the podcast and how they can find your stuff.
I appreciate it. I have a podcast called The Just Life. The Just Life. And to live justly is what the podcast is about. So I interview people who are engaged in different issues of justice. So whether that be human trafficking, whether it be racial justice, whether it be poverty, entrepreneurs that feed people through their technology. I talk to those people with the purpose and the hope of encouraging anybody listening that they can get involved in issues of justice. Justice isn't just a moment, it's a way of life. So The Just Life is on all platforms.
Yeah, check that out, everybody.
YouTube, Apple, Spotify. But one of the issues is human trafficking. Right now, there are 50 million people in the world that are in modern-day slavery. So International Justice Mission is an organization that I'm partnering with to bring awareness to that, and they go and combat trafficking in 19 different countries. And so people can learn about that at IJM.org, and also check out my podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
IJM.org, everybody.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. By the way, 20 years ago, you ran Champ Bailey down. How often do you get asked about that?
Do a lot. And what's
20 years ago?
What's crazy is 20 years. Where did the time go?
How did you catch him?
I didn't want to be cussed out by Bill the next day for not chasing him, and so at some point it turns into
He'll point it out on the film.
Exactly.
He did his job, and he sat down with us. That was his job for the last couple minutes. Benjamin Watson, everybody, IJM.org. Check that out. Listen to the podcast. It's for a great cause, and it's great stuff to learn and hear from Benjamin Watson. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
We
Appreciate you
appreciate
guys.
it. Benjamin Watson, everybody, former Patriot, among others, Super Bowl champion, played with Cleveland
Benjamin.
and Baltimore and so many other stops in the NFL. He was kind enough to join us right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. And that conversation, like all the conversations down here, are brought to you by Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine. Hey, if you have a Super Bowl party coming up, you want to make sure you call and order now. 266-1588. They have your big game catering. They deliver, they pick up. And listen, if you don't live in Brigantine and you're having a Super Bowl party, your Super Bowl party is not as good as it can be without Ernest & Sons. Don't forget, if you're looking for a new car right now through February 28th, Rocco over at Key Acura of Atlantic City, he can get you into a new Acura ADX. Lease options as low as $300 a month for qualified buyers. And then, of course, if you're looking for dinner tonight, it's a great time. I don't know what time it is where you guys are listening right now. It's only 1:30 in the afternoon here, so we're kind of thinking about dinner. It's 4:30 out there. Okay. But the Nizams will treat you to dinner tonight. They have 7 days a week from 11:30 to 9:30. Join them for a special lunch buffet. All right, when we come back, we have so much more. In our next hour, by the way, we are jam-packed. We have I think like 4 more guests coming in the 5 o'clock hour. So we'll check that out. We'll see what's coming up next. Hey, if you want to hear what's coming up next, don't change the channel. The Sports Bash is coming back live on 97.3 ESPN.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, everybody, welcome back here on Radio Row in San Francisco, California. The Sports Bash, Mike Gill, Scott Grayson, and joining us now on the set, we are joined by Jeff Garcia, is a San Fran 49er alum, but we all remember him in our audience during his time with the Philadelphia Eagles. You looking good, Jeff. What's going on?
Thank you, man. Eagles number 7, man. Hey, Garcia, let's go.
It's funny. I was just reading about the 7 thing because obviously Donovan wore 5 and you had been 5. Did you have to have a fist fight with Ron Jaworski for the 7?
At the time, fortunately not. I think he was open to me wearing number 7 as long as I represented it well. So hopefully I did that for Ron.
Well, and I was going to say, you did represent it well. So your time in Philly was very short. But it was memorable, I would think. Did it have the same impact for you?
Short, but impactful. You know, it was one of my favorite seasons in the NFL, being able to play for the Eagles and go through what we went through that season. Obviously, when I went to Philadelphia, I knew that I was accepting a backup role, that I wasn't going to be a starter, that I wasn't going to have a chance to compete to be the starter. But more about my decision to go to Philly was to go to an organization that had consistency and continuity and had a coaching staff that had been together a while. They had proven that they could win, a good locker room atmosphere, and that was important for me at the time of my career. And so I accepted the fact that I wasn't going to be a starter. I was going to have to back up Donovan. And Donovan and I had a great relationship, man.
He's coming over here later.
We got along.
Can I ask him the same question?
Yes, and he may not say the same thing, but no, I'm kidding. We had a lot of fun, man, and he was a good dude, and we laughed a lot. We worked hard together. I think the most important thing for me was to push Donovan.
Yeah.
To push him not by what I said, but how I approached the game, how I ran the huddle, how I got up to the line of scrimmage, how I worked the play that I was taught to run on the field at that time. But, yeah, I mean, my experience there to be able to help turn that team around mid-season and
5-1
NFC East division title, that was awesome.
That season, remember, it seemed like it was off the rails, and then insert Jeff Garcia, and what a fun little 6-game stretch there. I mean, that was unbelievable.
You know, Jeff, I wanted to ask you about when you go through your career and you have to change sometimes teams or sometimes coordinators. When we see what's going on with the Eagles right now, Jalen Hurts seems to have a different offensive coordinator every year. What's that like for a quarterback, and how do you have to manage that to make sure you're grasping the offense as quickly as possible?
It's definitely disruptive, especially if the language is changing year in and year out. You know, one of the major decisions for me outside of going to Cleveland was to go to coaches who had a system that was similar. So you look at my stop in San Francisco and then Detroit, that was with Mariucci. Same system. I go to Philadelphia, well, Mariucci and Andy Reid used to coach together. Similar system. And Marty Morningwig, he was my offensive coordinator in San Francisco. So similar system. Go to Tampa, similar system. A lot of carryover in terminology and verbiage and how I see the play and work the play. And so those were important things for me as a quarterback to help my learning curve not be as lengthy, not be as hard. And if you're having to learn new system, talking about language, let's be honest, all concepts have some similarity.
Yeah.
You're not going to read a hook flat differently because it's a different coordinator. But how things are called, the shifts, the adjustments, what you do at the line of scrimmage, all of those things can change. And if you're having to learn or restart every single year, it definitely affects your confidence and your ability to process on the field.
So a lot of what they've been doing, reportedly, is a lot of Nick Sirianni's offense. They brought in a guy with no play calling experience. He's only been a coach for 2 years, Sean Mannion. Would that be concerning if you, Jeff Garcia, they said, hey, you're going to work with a guy who's a first-time play caller and he's only had 2 years of coaching? You're a veteran quarterback. He's a Super Bowl MVP. You never got there. Sorry, not to knock you or anything, but that's your resume. You're Jeff Garcia. You've had a lot of success. You're getting a first-time play caller.
I was with Sean. He's a quarterback out of Oregon State.
Correct.
And he was with the Rams for a little bit. He was the backup when I was coaching with the Rams. I've reached out to Nick about coaching with the Eagles, and I don't get a call back, so I'm very disappointed and discouraged by the whole process here. That being said, you get a guy who's young in the coaching years. I mean, I think Nick is at a point where he's got to be more involved. He's got to handle more of the quarterback room. If he wants to see that room develop and take what the message is and apply it on the field, then he's got to be more hands-on. He can't expect Mannion to be that guy. Now, Mannion's a former quarterback, which is good for the position, great for the position, because you have a guy who's studied the game like a quarterback. He's tried to interpret it as a player onto the field as a quarterback. So all those things are great for Jalen. But I think the major thing that I see with Jalen, he's a tremendous player, tremendous leader, but he could be a better decision maker, and he could get the ball out of his hands faster than he does. I feel like he waits. I feel like he relies on his legs a little too much, and those things are going to be disruptive to the offense as far as the consistency. You see the receivers getting upset. Now, receivers are receivers. They're prima donnas.
You played with one that got upset a little bit.
I mean, that being said, you got to ignore that. But I also get where they're constantly running routes, and the only time they're getting the ball is on a scramble drill. That takes a lot out of a receiver to adjust his route. Now I got to react to the quarterback. I need to get to a different spot. Why isn't he seeing me the first time when I ran the comeback and I was open for 3 yards, but I didn't get the ball? Now I'm reacting, and I see that happening, and maybe that's a process of Jalen just not feeling real comfortable, not real confident in what he's being coached up on, and maybe they can get to that point. You see the development of quarterbacks these days, and it starts early, prior to high school and then in high school. 7-on-7 is ruining quarterbacks' development because it's not teaching them the proper mechanics and decision-making.
That's a great point.
They're not doing the right things, and then you get at the collegiate level, and everything's a spread offense, and it's a fast-paced offense, and there's 15 screens that they're throwing to the sidelines, and it's just not developing quarterbacks the way that quarterbacks used to be developed.
The thing that you talked about with Jalen, in your experience with Sean Mannion in the past, can Sean get that out of him, in your opinion?
Well, I think a lot depends on what Sean's background is as to how he has coached the game in the last few years, how he's learning the game, and how he's able to translate that into Jalen and how Jalen interprets the offense and his decision-making. Because it all comes down to what are you seeing in your pre-snap, and then once the ball is snapped, how are you reacting to the defense in your post-snap? And that's allowing you to start to diminish your decisions from, hey, I have the number 1 to the number 2 to the number 3, to now I'm just, hey, number 1's eliminated because this is the coverage. I got to go right to number 2 and then to my check down. Yeah. And that clock needs to be ticking in your head. And he's been blessed to have a great offensive line in front of him and great time at times. You see him move at times just because of out of discomfort.
Yeah.
Because it's taken a little too long. But it's because he's probably missed the first opportunity already. And so those are the things that I would be coaching him up on.
And you were interested. You saw enough from him that you wanted to work with him. You offered that.
I mean, I've reached out. Reached out.
Hey, I love what he's saying. I would have hired him.
I've reached out. I mean, I've reached out to Howie, and I've reached out to the head coach. I've tried to connect. It's just one of those things.
I got one more question before we get out of here, but I want you to tell us, you got the Mueller Sports Medicine and how it has helped you out. We see all you guys walking around. It's so great to see everybody, but you guys get beat up and stuff for your career. We don't think about that until the after part. So tell us a little bit about what Mueller Sports Medicine is doing for you.
Well, I didn't have all this when I was going through it either, and I was a very low-maintenance guy. I felt like, hey, I need to be in the weight room. If I need to ice up my elbow, I'll ice up my elbow. But I did not live in the training room. Well, now having access to, hey, keeping ourselves healthy, hey, whether it's swelling, whether it's chronic pain, whether it's just inflammation. And that's what these products from Mueller Sports are doing. The Revive product line, the boots, I have them at home. When I'm just kicking back watching TV, I can get 20 minutes of blood flow coming through my body, working from the bottom of my legs to the top toward the heart, and really helping the circulation throughout my body. They're also doing great things at the collegiate level. Their products are throughout sports, but it's not just athletes that need this. Hey, the everyday people suffers chronic pain. These are things that can be beneficial to them.
So my last question, I had said on my show that after 06, which you were very popular, many people wanted you to come back to Philly, and I said it would be anarchy because it might have been, hey, Donovan's back. Well, we kind of like what this other guy was doing. Did you feel that it was not tenable to come back to Philly?
Absolutely. I felt like I was either going to give them a great deal by offering services at a low rate to be a backup, or I was going to outprice myself. And that's what they kind of put me in that position. Well, what do you want, Jeff? What do you want in order to come back? And it was kind of like, well, whatever you'll put out there, right? And I had an opportunity to go to Tampa and become a starter, to be their guy. And at the end of the day, that's what I wanted. Hey, Philly helped revive my career in the sense of getting those opportunities on the field and show that I'm still capable. I can still lead a team. I can still play at a high level. But there was no way that, based upon, I think, what happened with the chemistry that I had with the fan base, and not that Donovan didn't have great fans and loyalty in a lot of ways, I was just different. I was more a blue collar.
Well, Philadelphia loves the underdog.
Hey, grind. Hey, my saying is, hey, all grit, no quit. And that's Philly. I mean, they're full of grit and no quit, man. They just keep coming at you. Hey, like Rocky, man. You keep hitting me, I'm still bouncing back.
I remember they lost a game to the Colts. They got blown out.
Yes.
Like a primetime game, and then the season's over. You're getting kicked. And then after that, the ride, the playoffs. Jeff Garcia, everybody, he engineered that. It was a great time and a great story and everything that's going on. You're in San Francisco. You played here for years. The Super Bowl's back. And, of course, four-time Pro Bowler. Had a long-time career. It's great to see you, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you, guys.
it.
Jeff
Garcia,
it's a pleasure.
everybody here.
Love
on
Philadelphia.
the
Love the Eagles, man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome stuff. We'll be back with on Radio Row here in San Francisco. And don't forget, our interviews are all brought to you by Key Acura of Atlantic City and Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. More on Radio Row coming up.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
All right, final hour of the show. We're live on Radio Row in San Francisco, continuing on the coverage of Super Bowl 60 and a lot of coverage of what's going on. The Eagles, obviously, big in our market. We talked to Donovan McNabb. We talked to Jeff Garcia and a lot of others.
Bo Allen.
Bo Allen was on the show earlier. The Jeff Garcia interview, which you just listened to for people's out there, really good insight from Jeff. I mean, he said he offered to coach. He called Nick Sirianni. He called Howie Roseman, offering to coach the team. Not coach the team, but be a member of the staff.
Wanted to coach up Jalen Hurts specifically.
Right, and he had said he had been a coach for Sean Mannion when Mannion was a quarterback with the Rams. So that was really some of the big stuff there. Keith Bullock is set to join us right now on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. And much like we just had Benjamin Watson on, who was in tremendous shape. By the way, this is the second Syracuse player we've had on today.
How about that?
Does he know that? We'll catch up with you hear the microphone. That's him trying to get on board here. We've got
what's up?
This will be our second Syracuse alum jumping on today. That's how I remember you the most, Syracuse. Actually, that's not true.
Do it.
But I do remember Syracuse.
That's awesome.
Donovan was on earlier, and he's the first Syracuse guy today. Keith Bullock.
Same, not draft class, but same era.
Yeah, you guys were about a year apart.
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
He
Donovan set I was going to say he set the tone, but I think it was more like Marvin Harrison set the tone.
I went to West Virginia.
You saw Adam Jones.
Yeah.
Adam Jones. I'm glad he didn't know that. He would have, yeah, you already know. He's a huge
I was going to
West
say,
Virginia.
and the Pac-Man was down there at the time. Now, I don't want to get them all riled up.
I know. You really went to West Virginia because you know better. That was great.
Keith Bullock is with us, Tennessee Titans, of course. And, one of the interesting things about catching up with people down here, and people, we're in Eagles country, right? Philadelphia Eagles is kind of our listening audience. You get to hear perspectives from others about the Eagles because everybody who's the Eagles fans always feels like everybody hates us or all that stuff.
Guys are passionate.
What is the perception
of Eagles fans?
Of just the organization, fans, all encompassing?
Well, the organization is great. I feel like the owner does things right. He's because these owners are billionaires, and this is like to own a football team is like us coaching our kids baseball team. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I love that Mr. Lurie, he puts time into the organization and he cares. That's first. A story about Eagles fans. I'm from New York. We played the Eagles at Philly. One of my boys, my boys took the train down to watch the Eagles versus Titans, and my boy decided to wear a 53 Keith Bullock jersey.
How'd that go?
Smart.
And he's walking through the parking lot. And then a football kind of lands by him. He throws it back. Then the same football comes and hits him in the back. And then he turns around to someone saying, hey, take off the jersey.
That will happen. Now, I know you spent that 1 year with the Giants.
Yeah.
And that could have been even worse.
You know what?
You had a Giants 53 Bullock.
Oh, you know what? Oh, that was the worst because this is coming back to me. You see how it just hits me in the forehead. That was my last NFL season.
Yes.
The Eagles, that game, that Deshaun Jackson ended my career. He ended my career because Coach Coughlin, he ended me and Matt Dodge's career. Matt Dodge was the punter.
I got another West Virginia one I'm going to come at you with next,
For sure.
by the way.
But this is quick. Coach Coughlin, I swear I was right next to Coach Coughlin when he told him this because I rode the bench that whole year. Coach Coughlin told him to kick it out of bounds. He kicks it right down the middle.
That's right. You remember that?
Yeah,
Miracle of the Meadowlands.
That's why Coach Coughlin was so irate. Like when you see him going after because he told him to kick it out of bounds.
So as a coverage guy going down, you're not expecting to have to worry about making a tackle, right?
Well, you got to always be expecting to make a tackle, but where D-Jack went right is he muffed it. He dropped it. So the coverage is coming down. Everybody's beating in on him. So him dropping it, and with the speed he has, boop, boop, 2 moves.
That's
and then
it.
He's hitting it. You know what I mean? Now, if he had caught it clean, the coverage team covered perfectly.
Well,
okay.
That's Miracle of the Meadowlands, too.
Yeah.
Herm Edwards was the first one.
That's crazy. That's probably crazier. The Herm Edwards ones is crazier.
One of the reasons I was so interested to talk to you.
Okay. I was set up.
Well, you got the Olympics coming up.
Oh, nice.
Curling with my friend Mark Bulger.
Bulge.
West Virginia, friend of mine.
Yes.
His brother's a nut.
Is he?
Yeah.
Bulge isn't a nut.
No, he's the most. So Bulger at West Virginia, he's the starting quarterback. You would never know. He would sit in the bar with his Budweiser.
Bud Light,
and slam them all night long, and you would not know at all. But I saw him get into curling, and then they said, Keith Bullock, I said, he was curling with Mark Bulger, Jared Allen.
And
how'd you
Michael
get into that?
Jared Allen, man. Shout out to my guy, Jared Allen, Hall of Famer. So many people, former players, live in Nashville unexpectedly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Jared Allen's driving through my neighborhood. He's like, yo, I hear you live over here. I'm looking for a house, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, have you ever gone curling before? Have you done curling? I'm thinking of starting a curling team. I'm like, well, now that you mention it, yes, I have curled. Because when I retired, I worked in Toronto at the Fantasy Sports Network, and the first office party I ever went to was curling. Our boss
Wait,
took
he
us curling.
says to you randomly, have you ever gone curling? And you're like, as a matter of fact.
Randomly.
That's awesome.
So he's like, cool, you're in. You're on the team. And we went to about 5 or 6 Bonspiels. That's what they call them, the events. And the coolest thing about it is the winner buys the loser's beer. We got a lot of beer.
With that crew, I can imagine.
We had a lot of beer because it's like, so curling, there's 9 frames, maybe 10. I think it's 9. But it's not like baseball. It's like a 21 rule, right? If we're down a certain amount of points in the 4th or 5th frame, we're not going to finish because you can't come back. You
right.
know what I mean? So that was another cool thing about curling. I think the furthest I made it was like to the 6th frame. Jared has completed a game before because he actually still curls. He's invested. Bulger is invested. He has a place in Nashville called T-Line where you can go and drink Bud Lights and curl. Get some great food as well. Mark Bulger is doing very good in life after football.
He was a smart guy.
Sure.
He made some good money.
Made
with
a
that
lot of money.
Yes, he did.
As a quarterback, I picked the wrong position, but
oh well, you made some money.
I did.
He's Keith Bullock, everybody, and I know it's fun to just kind of catch up with people. But I did watch those Syracuse scenes because I was at West Virginia, and you, McNabb, Harris, and all that stuff. It was a great time. It's not the same.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
How is it covering Philadelphia sports? I was going to just say the Eagles, but I know the Eagles get it, the Flyers get it, everybody gets it. So
yeah.
It's insane. Think about this. You played on some successful teams too.
Yeah, for sure.
The Eagles went to the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl, lost, went to the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, and this year they won the division back-to-back with 11 wins, and they wanted everybody fired, they want everything changed. So it's very easy to do our job because as long as you don't win the Super Bowl, everyone will bitch and moan. You ever play in a town like that?
I have, yeah.
I mean, you were in New York, but
I played for the Giants, and what was crazy to me about the Giants was that the defense is on the field. The defense gives up a touchdown or some points, and I hear people in the stand saying, "Come on, Eli! Come on, Eli!" Eli's not even on the field. So, yes, I kind of know what you're talking about.
Keith Bullock, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I enjoyed it greatly.
Thanks, Keith.
And,
Thanks, man.
What an awesome
The curling is great, yeah.
Syracuse, curling, and a great linebacker.
Yeah.
Keith Bullock, everybody. When we come back, we're going to give you some betting tips for the game. Stick around. We're staying right here, right? Okay, all right. We're staying right here. I'm going to switch over to here, and I'm going to switch headsets real fast. Or am I going to switch headsets? No, you can just keep this one there. Scott, you're going to be giving your headset to Kelly over here. And, all right, we're switching over here. Okay. I switched seats so that you guys could sit together. It would have been awkward. I'll explain the story. Say again? Ariel, yes. Well, we're live on the air right now. So you guys are jumping in. We're going to be live. We're just going to keep on going. The stream just keeps on rolling. So Kelly and Ariel are jumping in here. We're doing good. So
Hello.
The first day we're live. We're actually still live on the radio right now. So we're not
Don't
even
say
like
anything
we're just
bad.
flipping everything over.
We were just talking about getting canceled, so
Oh,
I'm
boy.
glad that you
Oh,
told
boy.
us we're live.
Well, it's good to see both of you.
You too.
We're in Atlantic City, by the way. I know you are Kelly in Vegas, but we are in Atlantic City.
I love me some Atlantic
I was going
City.
to say, that was the first thing I had because, now, where do you live now?
I live in New York City.
You're in New York.
I'm in Florida.
You're in Florida. Okay. So do you often go to AC or never? Because every time someone talks betting, they only say Vegas. There's no other, it's just still Vegas, even though there's apps and all sorts of stuff. No one ever even mentions Atlantic City.
That's not true.
You don't think?
No.
Well, Crack is a big AC
I was going to say,
guy.
Bill Krakenberger and I work together at Wager Talk, and he goes to AC all the time.
For the Super Bowl, he said he usually does AC for the
Here's
Super Bowl.
the real reality about AC.
Be nice.
No.
See, that's the problem. No one's nice about AC anymore.
No, this is when I went for the week before the Super Bowl, 2019, February 2019, and we went out there. We stayed at a beautiful casino. The sports book had just opened, so they were like, "Hey, come! We want you to broadcast on our sports book," and I really enjoyed it. It was too cold for me coming from Las Vegas.
It's cold.
I would love to go there in the summertime where I could actually walk on the boardwalk, where I could actually go down to the water and do some nicer things. So you have to remember, but from a gambling perspective, they had reasonably priced blackjack.
Yes.
They had actual dealers that deal you the cards, not an automatic shuffler.
That is true.
They had great restaurants that we went to.
Very good.
And so I think it's Vegas light. It's Vegas on the East Coast.
So the Super Bowl was in Vegas a couple of years ago, and I had never been there before because I said, I live in Atlantic City. Why do I need to go to Vegas?
Well, now
a
you know.
casino's a casino. I was overwhelmed at the size of the amount and just because Atlantic City's only got like 9 casinos, and some of them aren't open half the time anymore. But that was the big difference. So that was the number one thing was just the overwhelming, because I said, AC's got you go into one of the casinos and there might be like a nice store or something. But I said, how many people can keep all of these?
The 8 Louboutin
Yes,
stores?
how does that work? Like every one of these places has a mall that's endless. And I was like, how do they keep it going? But they're having some problems with that now, right?
Well, yeah, because you can just buy everything online. You just
that
buy everything
too.
online.
You can. All right, so yesterday I traveled.
Us too.
Right, and I happened to see some of your tweets or posts. What are they called now?
Which one? On X?
X's?
On X?
I still call
I
them
think they're still
tweets.
tweets.
Right. Everybody,
Elon might not agree, but
he changed the name of it, but no one recognizes the name change.
What are they called? Posts?
I think they're called posts. Berardus, are they called posts? Yeah. He doesn't know.
I still say tweets.
Isn't he supposed to be the social media guy and he
He's-
doesn't know?
The young social. I'm almost 50.
Same.
And and he's like, the guy. I'm like, hey, same.
I always remind her that she's like, I mean,
I am significantly older than Ariel, so it just
you're
becomes
not
a joke.
almost 50 yet. You're closer to 40 still, which is so good for you.
So to answer one of your questions, is it acceptable for someone to have a chat on the phone? Did you not ask that question?
So here's the problem.
Oh, on the plane?
On the plane.
Oh,
None of this
yeah,
is
that was
acceptable.
bad.
None of this is acceptable. You are in a public place. I am very guilty.
I hate when people play their music out loud, especially on the subway.
You got the old guy with the Candy Crush sitting behind you for 6 hours. Yeah, you want to jump out of the window onto the. I'd rather fly on the wing.
I had the middle seat, and one guy next to me.
No.
Well, it's a long story, but I had middle seat. Lady next to me, Candy Crush. Guy next to me watched F1 race. It was a 6-hour race. I said, how is this enjoyable for you for 6 hours? You watched the race the whole time. Do you like F1?
Uh,
For 6 hours?
I think, going to an F1 race, It's kind of like baseball. I don't like baseball on TV, but I like going to a baseball game. I feel like the F1 race would be the same.
I would agree.
Even though all the Vegas people did say that the F1 race, although it was cool, made an absolute disaster.
It's a disaster.
I have been in St. Pete's when they set that up.
Yeah.
And it is.
Well, they're doing it in Miami now, too, and so.
I was in Baltimore when they did it, too. Any
Oh,
place
that
that
couldn't go
sets
well.
the track up. Right. Anytime they do the F1 in like a middle of a city, does not go well.
Yeah, I don't know why. I get their idea, the
It's
big
cool.
picture idea. It's cool, but it makes a logistical nightmare for those who live there.
But I guess you could say it's the same about the Super Bowl. Everywhere that the Super Bowl is, it
Yeah,
just becomes a
this is a logistical nightmare.
I would agree. New Orleans
It's not
was
as bad
awesome.
as Vegas was, though.
Everyone says New Orleans was great, and that's the one we missed.
I know.
New Orleans is the best. Vegas, the problem with Vegas
It was
is
too big.
what's too big?
Oh my God.
Okay, so
Well,
I always stay at the
but-
Westgate, right? So the Westgate's a little bit off the strip, so it's really easy to get to. You're not dealing with strip traffic, right?
Yeah.
But so then we had to go down Desert Inn because they had roads blocked off Spring Mountain. So we get on the highway. It was stop and go traffic on the highway to get off at Mandalay Bay.
See, the problem I had, I stayed at the Luxor, which was
Yeah,
the
so you got
media
to walk.
hotel. But
Right.
from there to Radio Row, it was one back and forth. I never left the damn hotel
No.
ever. So I
Right.
never saw the strip.
No.
Like I went out one night, walked, but by the time I was
You're
jet lagged,
exhausted.
out of gas.
Yeah.
But I felt, Ariel, you mentioned something that I don't know if I agree with. What was too big?
There was too much like going around Mandalay Bay. when
Mandalay
you
Bay
had-
is massive.
For,
Their
so
convention center's
for
massive.
us, when you had to exit the
They
media
did
area,
some TV stuff out there, right?
so
you have to remember.
well, that was where the Radio Row was. So when you went into the media area, you had to go down these escalators through security,
Yes.
then back up.
It was a pain in the
and
ass.
then you were in Media Radio Row. Then when you exited, you were right where you could have entered, but because you had to go through security, you weren't able to just get back in.
inside,
You
right.
had to
You had to
do
go
the
back.
whole loop again. So it was a 15-minute
But
process.
my thought was, you could be in Vegas, walking anywhere on the Strip, and not know the Super Bowl was there. You only knew it if you were in the Mandalay Bay area.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's why the town, like, I went to London for the Phillies game last year against the Mets.
Uh-huh.
They didn't give one rat's ass that game was there.
Nope.
But it's like New
Except
York.
for Trafalgar Square. It was like, this is where the Phillies and Mets losers can hang out. I'm one of them. And then the rest of you can be
Which
British.
is funny because the Phillies people, I feel like, they make themselves known.
It was awesome.
I'm sure.
That is awesome.
I came to tears when I saw that stadium. I said, this is unbelievable.
I wish
Because
the
the Phillies
Yankees would do
fans
that.
were so awesome. And just the pomp and circumstance of this thing, and Bryce Harper hits a home run, and the place was going, and it was chanting back and forth. And they had no idea what was going
Well,
on.
because think about it. So I was just in Dublin for K-State, Iowa State when we were there. And it was around the stadium. It was like 4,000 people trying to get in these little old historic pubs, right? Like it was just monster amounts of people. And the locals, the only people that go to those games that are locals are big corporate events that have boxes and things like that, or people that really want to get into American football, or the local fans. So you have to be like a diehard fan to spend the money to go to London.
Yeah.
So you probably got the best of the best Philly fans there.
Well, yeah, and it was like there was like different Phillies trip packages that like, send people
Right.
there. So it was like, it was pretty. But my girlfriend and I travel a lot, and we went to the game together. The Ireland game is something that would appeal to me.
That
We went to Dublin a couple of years ago and did the whole
Ireland
gang.
was a beautiful
when it's so
country,
pretty.
but like Dublin was a cluster. I was like I'm not a city girl, I'm from Kansas, right? Like I've lived in plenty of cities, but the logistical nightmares that are cities that are thousands of years old make it a little difficult.
I do agree that it was like the whole downtown is like nuts in that.
She said she was, but again, any city
Also,
we go
I'm a
to, we're
sore
always.
loser. I'm a sore loser.
That's
K-State
true.
lost, so like it kind of ruined Dublin for me. Whereas
I was
the
jealous
first part
the
of the
entire
week,
time that she was there. I almost went with her, and then I couldn't make it work. Then when K-State lost, I said, "Thank God I'm not
Are
there."
you K-State too?
No, I'm
but
Syracuse.
she knows what a brat I would have
Syracuse.
been.
Yeah,
Third of the
I
day.
actually- well,
Keith Bullock.
Really?
Right? You literally were just sitting here, and then Donovan McNabb was here.
Yeah. So I went to Penn State for 2 years, which
Oh,
I know that your fan. I'm sure the South Jersey crew is going to be like, yay or nay. And then I transferred to Syracuse.
I'm West Virginia.
Oh,
I saw
that's
that.
fun.
I know you don't like it. But
No, Morgantown. I have went on 150 shows to say that Morgantown's by far the best college town that I've ever
Yeah.
been to. I have never had.
amazing
Now,
in
granted,
Morgantown.
K-State won all 3 times I've been there.
Yeah.
So that does change things a little bit, right? But I remember the very first year you guys were in the Big 12, I called Aunt Helen, same when I went to Dublin with, I said, hey, we're going to Morgantown. And I had so many people being like, oh, my God, you have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. And I'm like,
nah, it's not like Philly.
I'm like, okay, they were the best.
Yeah,
granted,
unless you're a Pitt.
No, yes, but don't get me wrong. There's me. There's my 50, 60-year-old aunt with me. Do you guys want a beer? Welcome to Morgantown. Come hang out. Hey, we got this barbecue. You guys hungry? Like, it was awesome. I have never had more fun at a football game than the 3 games that I went to Morgantown.
I miss it a lot, but I haven't been back since I left, oddly.
No?
I haven't been back to Syracuse
Well, they're
either.
not very good, so that sucks.
Well, we got Rich Rod back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Rich Rod.
Well, that's all we got. All right. Kelly Stewart, Ariel Epstein is with us. The Splash Sports is what they are with now. And I know we were just going to talk about random nonsense for a little while, but one of my things was I wanted to hear actual stuff for our audience, some props and some stuff that you're excited about for this game, because no one seems excited about this game at all.
No, I'm not.
We've been saying
I'm a Broncos
that.
fan. I'm not excited. Listen, I just told you guys what a sore loser I am. I wanted to be excited for this game. We just saw this game a decade ago. And let me tell you how it ended for me. Run the ball, Pete Carroll. So I still have a little bit of, we'll call it PTSD from that.
Well, I just would think they're a little bit of underwhelming teams. I mean, the Seahawks defense is great, and I'm a Ravens fan. I miss McDonald, and everybody is so mad in Baltimore that the Ravens didn't let John Harbaugh go 4 or 5 years ago and bring McDonald in as a head coach. Defense wins championships. I do believe that the Seahawks have the better defense. We know this game's going to be won in the trenches. That's why people probably aren't as excited, because offensively, it's not as flashy.
Yeah.
It's
which
like,
is actually great
can you
for
envision
props.
the person who wins this game, can you envision them being like the next
Best team?
Dynasty? No.
whoever? Like this quarterback's like the new, they have Darnold, so therefore.
Well, that's the problem, right? Everybody has just completely discredited what Sam Darnold not only did this year, but what he did last year in Minnesota.
Right.
I don't know what on planet Earth Kevin O'Connell is thinking by going with J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold.
Well, the GM got fired.
He should have. I am sorry. I'm a big proponent of getting fired. You'll see those tweets as well. Fire everybody. I'm again, sore loser. But as far as this game goes, I think because we've seen the Seahawks in the last decade, right? We finally got rid of the Patriots, and then we got stuck with the Chiefs forever, right? That's the problem. Now all the Patriots fans are back, right? We saw Portnoy outside, and it's like his 18th Super Bowl.
They let him back.
Yeah, right? But it's funny because you do wonder, like, when do we get new blood? Well, you don't, really. I mean, you really don't get new blood.
Well, the Eagles were here last year, and then they were here 2 years ago, and everybody's miserable where we are because they won 11 games, won the division, and now they want everybody fired.
Even though we do want to say thank you to the Eagles for last Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was very
huge.
good to us.
Yeah,
very good to us.
But here's the real reality. I was joking about being a Broncos fan. Obviously, Bo Nix. You don't want to have a backup quarterback in the Super Bowl outside of Nick Foles, because it's not good for gambling. It's not good for viewership. It's not good for all these things.
Right.
I think the problem is that people get tired of seeing the same teams. And we just saw the Super Bowl 10 years ago, which is crazy to say that it was 10 years ago. And people are not excited when people like me have been saying that the Patriots are frauds all year long.
And I think people like seeing like a Lions, Bills, Ravens. People want to see not necessarily new blood, but like new team blood with a star quarterback at the helm.
That's actually a very good point.
But like the Lions and the Bills have like woe is me stories.
Yes.
Like they've been so down rotten and they've never won. So there is like that Chicago Cubs element of it. Like they've never won before, so I'll get behind them. These two teams, they both actually won. Like Seattle, people forget, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, but they're not like villainous. Nobody cares.
No. I think here is funny. I didn't even think about it. Our server last night at dinner, she was like, we love the Super Bowl except for all these Seahawks fans. I'm like, oh my gosh, of course you hate the Seattle Seahawks.
It has to be terrible if like the Giants were playing in Philly or
Right.
the Cowboys were playing in Philly. That would suck.
That would not go over well.
But that's why it's kind of, I was like, okay. But as far as this game goes, I want to bet the under. I want to say this is going to be, like Ariel said, one in the trenches. It's going to be this great defensive game, because I don't know what we're going to see offensively from the Patriots, right?
It's really hard to handicap them because you don't know what they're going to do with Stevenson and Henderson. And Butte's been their best receiver despite having Diggs. We've seen Mac Hollins props dropping. So, okay, now I'm thinking if Mac Hollins props are dropping, you're up against this defense that the secondary has been top 10 against wide receivers all year. I'm not going to bet the wide receivers this game. I'm going to be betting defensive player props. I'm going to be betting on some of the quarterback rushing props.
I like
just
that one.
Smaller things that normally the public loves to bet, like, oh, Stephon Diggs, he's great. Keyshawn Boutte, he's been great.
JSN, Keyshawn Boutte, anytime touchdown score.
JSN, Cooper Kupp.
You got to go. Who's the tight end now with the Seahawks? Because he does the tush push.
AJ, it's AJ Barner.
Yeah, he does the tush push for them now because what's his name got hurt. Man, I'm blanking. I'm getting old. The jet lag has crushed me today.
Yeah.
I got up at 3:00 in the morning yesterday.
Yes.
So did we.
And
you're doing pretty well, though.
I'm living on a line.
I just had a second coffee.
But the tight end guy,
AJ Barner.
you can get a tush push there. There's a prop.
Well, I also like his over longest reception. And speaking of line movement, that dropped. So it was 14.5. It dropped to 12.5. And now I think that number is just a little too low. Even though he's up against this defense that's been top 10 against tight ends, he's actually been averaging close to 20 yards per longest catch against even good defenses against tight ends, because there's so many other weapons that everyone else is looking at in Seattle between JSN and Cooper Kupp that people are forgetting about AJ Barner in the middle of the field.
There we go. So we both like Barner for different bets.
Reasons.
Yes.
Listen, I think you have to fade the narrative.
You're going under, by the way, right?
No. I don't have the stones to go under.
She said she can't do it.
You're gonna take the under in the Super Bowl? Look what happened last year with all the fourth quarter garbage time. Everything went over. You do not want to blow out like that in the Super Bowl when you're betting player props, because I'm too contrarian to sit here and say that. Yeah, I can make fun of people about their JSN anytime touchdown scores and their Keyshawn Boutte's anytime touchdown scores, but the reality is someone's going,
True.
Unless we have that horrific Patriots-Rams Super Bowl again, which was just god-awful, and of course the books are the only ones that made money in that situation. We don't want that either. But I'm on the Patriots. I took the 5.5 last week. I thought, hey, this is really interesting. I'm not sure if the Patriots have the ability to win this game.
What is it at now?
4.5. But I think we're going to see fives again.
It's been fluctuating
right.
Because here's the
4.5
reality.
But she said 5.5. I thought I was at 4.5. So you got in
last week.
Nice.
Here's the
like
reality.
last
I'm a
Monday or
nerd.
Tuesday.
I'm sitting at home. My odds screen's open at all points in time. It gives me a little ding. I'm going to take advantage of the market because I know that I can come back. I can bet Seattle money line, because the reality is when people are going to go to the window, they're going to bet Patriots money line. They're not going to bet Patriots plus the points.
Right.
I think Seattle money line's probably the sharp play. I know a lot of people that laid $2 with them.
So
I'm
we
not
actually,
really in that
speaking
business.
of our Splash Sports stuff, I was in our Survivor contest. We had 2 Survivor contests on Splash Sports. I realized that going into the championship round, I had still 2 left, and I had the Patriots and the Broncos still available. So I used them each, knowing that I would guarantee myself a spot in the finals, except I already took the Seahawks in those Survivor pools. So I had 2 Rams that I had to use for Super Bowl. Going into the NFC Championship, I said, well, the look-ahead line has both the Rams and the Seahawks minus 300 on the money line. But I could take, since they didn't play yet, Seahawks plus 165 to win the Super Bowl.
That's good intuition right there.
So then I have now a Seahawks plus 165.
Yeah, she's got a great number.
Or I was going to have the Rams in Survivor to win $50K. So I just kind of balanced it out.
All right. Well, I like that whole breakdown right there. It was pretty good. Tell everybody listening, the people who are lucky enough to be listening, how they can get involved with SplashSports.com and all the stuff that you guys are running for this very exciting Super Bowl.
I'll plug my website, SplashSports.com/Kelly in Vegas. We're running a Super Bowl tiers. We like to do, when we do joint collaborations, a lower price point so that everybody can get involved. $25.
There you go.
Gets you in. $25,000, excuse me, guaranteed in this tiers. Think of this
Top
kind of
100 get paid.
Yep. So 100 people are getting paid. Think of this as more like a daily fantasy just for the big game, right?
Yep.
So you're going to pick 4 players that you think are going to have the best game, and as Ariel said, as far as the point structure goes, top 100 people are getting paid.
There you go. Yeah. All right. I like it. Everybody out there, SplashSports.com for the Super Bowl. And they got a whole bunch of other stuff going. You can just kind of peruse around and find it out. Kelly Stewart, Ariel Epstein, and, of course, you could follow Kelly in Vegas on social.
Ariel Epstein.
Just Ariel Epstein on social.
Or the prop queen.
There you go. It's great to catch up with you,
Thanks,
too.
guys.
Thanks so much.
I needed this levity in my day.
Good. I hope we woke you up a little bit.
Well, I'm almost done.
So close.
Hey, I'm having a good time. It's
Bro,
we're here.
Don't go take a
this
nap.
it's not a real job, right?
Listen, I'm dressed for the winter time. You guys look like you just got off the beach. Like, it's a very interesting
that's what
dynamic
when you
out
let the
here.
Florida girl dress you.
All right, nice to see you guys.
You too.
We'll be back with more Sports Bash on Radio Row here on 97.3 ESPN.
Automotive Avenues, your family-owned, pre-owned dealership is growing and now has a second location in Sewell. Automotive Avenues brings the power of wholesale to the public. They make financing easy. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. You are still approved. Find out why Automotive Avenues has won customer satisfaction awards for the last 8 years. Discover why everybody loves Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or check out their expanded
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, welcome back. Sports Bash live on Radio Row. We want to thank our great sponsors who helped make this happen. Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop in Brigantine. If your big game party needs the best setup for food, check out my guy Mel and the team at Ernest & Sons. Give them a call, 609-266-1588. Homemade sausage, meatballs, sub trays, buffalo wings. Anytime we do New Year's Eve party, holiday party, any sort of party, Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop makes it that much better. Rocco and the team over at Key Acura of Atlantic City, now through February 28th, he can get you in an all-new Acura ADX. Lease options as low as $300. Hey, the winter's beating us up. Your car might be time for a new one. So check them out at Key Acura. And, of course, looking for a dinner option for tonight, check out the Nizam, South Jersey's top Indian restaurant and the number 2 restaurant in all of New Jersey. It is the Nizam's in Egg Harbor Township. Mike Gill, the Sports Bash Live. We're on Radio Row. We are, thanks to Kelly and Ariel, to jumping on board. Hey, having a little fun. Obviously, both of them with Splash Sports and talking about the props. She actually broke down a bunch of different stuff for us that was very interesting to kind of talk about. And I'm going to switch cameras here. Nick, I'm switching. They're coming over? Okay. We're going to be talking with Byron Young and Kobe Turner from the can I use this laptop over here? Can I switch them? All right. They're going to be joining us here on the Sports Bash in just a moment from the Rams. And obviously the Eagles and the Rams have had a couple of battles recently, and we're going to catch up with them here in a minute. Sorry about that, as they are making their way over from. So just to give people some insight, Bounty has a big old thing over here every year, and they bring out the wings, and they compare them with Bounty so that you can use it to wash your hands. So these guys are with Bounty, and they're over at that table all day with the wings, and they come in, and they've got these Kelly Green wingman jackets on, and it looks like Kelly Green Eagles jackets. So earlier today, Amon-Ra St. Brown had the jacket on, and I saw him, and I said, "You look good in Kelly Green." And he was like, "Nah." He was not having it. So that is one of the fun things here, is that you have all these different things on the outskirts of the Radio Row, and one of the setups is Bounty with the paper towels. So all the people with the wings, they pass the wings out all over the area, and they have them with the wings. So we're waiting on Kobe Turner and Byron Young from the LA Rams, who will join us here on Radio Row in just a minute. And then Delaney Walker is set to join us as well. We might have to do all three at the same time here in a second. I don't know how we're going to fit this all in, but we're going to try here in the last segment or so. Josh, you can tell me in my ear how many spots I still have left I got to get in before the end of the hour, too. So just kind of keep that going. By the way, big story today back home, and we talked about it earlier. Jared McCain was traded for a first-round pick, and it is a lot of people wondering what's going on. The Sixers trade Jared McCain. I am on the record saying I like Jared McCain a lot. Big Jared McCain fan in terms of I think he's a good player. I think he's a guy who can shoot it, and this team needs a guy that can shoot. They just do not have a guy who's a great shooter. I was at the game last night, and at times you got guys who can, shoot it when they're going well. But Jared McCain, I think, is the most dynamic shooter they have. When he is going well, he is a guy who can really, really, really get hot for them and, give them a different give them a different look, I should say, from shooting the basketball. They just do not have a guy who's a long-range sniper. I think McCain's the best shooter that they have when he's shooting well. Now, full disclosure, he's been disappointing this year. And I think one of the reasons he's been disappointing this year is because, why? He's been hurt. He got hurt last year with the knee. He came back from the knee, and then he tore the thumb. Then he couldn't get the shooting rhythm going because he just hasn't been playing all that much. And some of that's his own fault. When he's gotten minutes, he hasn't really done much with the minutes. But that being said, you have a situation where he was just starting to come back, and he was just starting to kind of find his rhythm. So you have that adding to your offense, an offense that had been kind of struggling along, and, now you have that gone when he was just, not to say struggling to shoot the three. All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. We'll try to fit in one more break or so before those guys get over here. We'll take it now here on the Sports Bash Live at Radio Row in San Francisco.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
All right, welcome back. Sports Bash is live, 97.3 ESPN, and Byron Young and Kobe Turner, they are making their way over to the table. Now, I find this very fun to talk to. Byron Young, Kobe Turner, representing Bounty today with the wings, and holy mackerel, we got the Bounty. Wow, look at that. Look at that. I was just talking about that. Gentlemen.
How we doing?
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
No doubt. Thank you for having us.
You are talking to Eagles fans.
Oh. Wait, you sure we're in the right spot?
Well, you got those nice Kelly Green vests on there.
Yeah, we got these vests
cardigans.
on because This guy is my wingman. This guy is the best wingman in the world.
I'll tell it everybody. So you guys are with Bounty, and it's funny because this is like everybody waits all day for when they're going to put the wings out here because it's the only food that's on here, not because the wings are bad. It's just like, when are the wings coming? And you guys have I said Amon-Ra St. Brown had one on earlier, and I know he's not very fond of the Eagles either. I said, you look good in Kelly Green, and he didn't agree with me.
Yeah.
You don't want to agree either.
No, I don't agree either. I don't.
Yeah, I don't agree too much.
The fact that you said that's why I can't agree. But.
So we can't have this conversation any longer? Well, one of the reasons, guys, obviously, Byron, you coming off a great season. Both you guys coming off a great season. Byron, I want to start with you first. One of the things, the Eagles just made a coaching change at offensive coordinator, and their offense is not as good as it probably should have been, right? Mm-hmm. When you guys play against the Eagles the last couple of seasons, is this a team that's easy to prepare for? Is their offense very simplistic, basic? What is it about their offense with the talent that they have? And you guys both can answer this because you both play on the defensive side of the ball. Did they not get as much out of their offense as they should with what they have? When you're preparing for the Eagles' offense, what is that week like?
Honestly, the preparation of knowing who you're going against. You're going against a good quarterback, great running back, great receivers, a great O-line, probably the best O-line in the league. So you know what you're going against, and a top 5 defense. So it's like never a pushover team. Always preparing, like we prepare for everybody else. At the same time, you got to be mindful of the guy you're going against and the team. Got to have rush discipline. Got to work as one. And you got to understand, if you give this guy a lot of time, that he would dot you up the whole game. So the mindset going in that game is always just, play your keys and just do what you got to do and just play as one.
How would you assess the Eagles' offense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything goes through their O-line and goes through their running game.
Was their O-line different this year?
I mean, I think they had, obviously, them having the new addition of Tyler Steen, that switches up their O-line. But I feel like, and then I also, wasn't Landon Dickerson down for a little bit?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the questions were they healthy? Because in the playoff game, obviously, 2 years ago, and in the game they played you guys in L.A., Saquon had 200-plus yards. How did you change that dynamic?
Well, so really, I mean, if you kind of go back to the tape on a lot of it, it's 2 or 3 plays that we are out of position, and Saquon has that ability. I mean, he's one of a few backs in the league who, once they hit that second level, like, they're gone for the most part. And we talk about it all the time, to be able to have eraser tackles at the second level is just as valuable as a sack, because you got guys like that who, once they break through, they take it to the house. So I think more than anything this year, when we played them, we just did a better job of keeping a lid on that and not allowing any of those big plays. But I think even going back to our games last year, it wasn't like it was a continual, moving the ball. It was 1 or 2 plays, and that's just the fact of the matter is when you have a running back like Saquon.
Your defense had said that, and it became kind of controversial, especially where we live. Like, wait a minute, you guys think you bottled him up? He had like 200-plus yards, but as you were saying, it was a handful of plays here and there.
Right, and it's not a controversial thing. I mean, that's what happens when you have great running backs in this league is they can turn those plays that maybe can be 7 to 10 yard plays, and they can turn those into home runs. And so that's what Saquon did. But I mean, that's how fast the game can change on any given play.
Yeah. So it's weird. They got AJ, they got Saquon, they got Devontae, Jalen, their offensive line. When you prepare, is there a guy that they'll say, this is the guy we need to focus on more than somebody? Like, how do you decide which is the guy that you want to put more attention on?
For us, it's more so like making them one-dimensional, like take away the run and forcing them pass, because they have a type of group where they could run and throw the ball. So, that's a dangerous team. So you got to take away one.
Right.
So our game plan was, the last few times we played them was to shut down the run. Because if we don't shut down the run, they're going to run on. That's really what
take
any
out
team
Saquon.
I mean, that's what any team you play, though. Like, they want to establish the run. They want to run the ball because then they could the run set up the pass. So, like, that basically our game plan always. It's not just like a focus on that one guy. It's like, okay, I mean, if it's Saquon, we focus on stopping him.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then you also have the opportunity, I mean, when you go up against teams like that who have a lot of confidence in their O-line, and rightfully so, you get the opportunity to have a couple more one-on-ones, right? And so it's like, let's knock out this run, and then on third down, we're going to we have a ton of confidence in our group running 4 as 1, 5 as 1, however many we send. And it's like, all right, this is a team that's going to respect us in the way of, all right, we're going to have an opportunity to have some one-on-ones. Let's go see if we can make some shake.
All right, before I got one last question, but I want to ask you about Bounty. It's everybody's most favorite thing here every single year. New Orleans, wherever they are, everyone's looking for the Bounty guys. And I love the Kelly Green that these Rams players have on. Tell us a little bit more about Bounty.
Yeah, it was such an authentic partnership, honestly. I mean, thinking of a guy like BY being my wingman since we got in. I mean, we trained together in pre-draft training, and then when we came into the Rams, we were both rookies together. We were roommates, and we've just continued to grow and build our relationship over the years, build our camaraderie, and continue to learn how each other plays as well. And so it kind of naturally flowed into obviously Bounty being our wingmate. Or being my wingman when I'm, at home, if I'm watching a primetime game, or I guess, sadly this Sunday, as the other 30 teams are also going to be sitting at home doing, when I order some wings,
yes,
I got to be able to not make a mess, not be able to get the couch dirty because the wife will kill me. I got to clean up around the house because the wife will kill me, and that's where Bounty comes in. So it's a really authentic partnership.
I like the Kelly Green and the wingman, kind of Eagles, birds, right? The wingman, right?
Oh, we're stretching it.
Kobe, Byron, I want to ask, I got to get one little. What was your reaction on the blocked field goal in Philadelphia this season? Like, the way that game switched in one blink of a block. Do you remember the moment? Do you remember how, the feeling of
I was sick.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, I definitely was sick because, we was right there. We were supposed to win the game, and wasn't even supposed to be in that position. We definitely had the game winning the game the whole time, and then that happened and got a blocked field goal, and just
Let me tell you something. It was the only good moment of the season. That's the only moment we had all year. Yeah, the season was rotten.
Y'all won the NFC.
Yeah. I thought y'all won your division.
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
It was painful to watch that offense. I know you guys got to go. We could talk all day about that, but congratulations on both your success. Yep. And you do look good in Kelly Green.
We want to let that go.
Right, no doubt. Appreciate y'all having me.
Byron Young, Kobe Turner from the LA Rams with Bounty, everybody. And I got to tell everybody one more time in the audience, if you come to Radio Row, Bounty they're the top. They got the wings, they got all of the paper towels to make sure that we can do our show. Thank you so much, guys, and we appreciate Bounty bringing them here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Getting ready to wrap things up. Let's do a couple quick nuggets, right? We got a couple quick nuggets before we get out of here. What are some quick nugget observations?
Oh, what's going on, Mike? It's been a wild
Now, Nick's
day.
been behind the scenes doing all the booking and organization and the times and all that stuff. So
I think the best one of the day was definitely when we got Bo Allen. Bo Allen, he was kind of just standing there. I was like, let me go see if he wants to jump on, and he was gracious enough to jump on the show for a little while, and then Donnie McNabb came right on. We had Eagles back-to-back. How about that?
And Jeff Garcia. That was really,
earlier.
really cool to listen to his perspective on things. But
got a question off to Ocho while he was walking by. He was right next to us.
That's another thing. You got to follow the socials because we do grab some quick interviews that don't get onto the radio because they might not be available, or they say, hey, I only have 2 minutes. So we do a lot of 2-minute quickies like in the on our social media page.
Absolutely. At 97.3 ESPN. Instagram, there's going to be a lot of reels up.
So you didn't get to do any nuggets today, but do you have any quick nuggets from the first day here?
I'll tell you what, it's almost over. I will say
tomorrow we got another big day.
I will say
we had Kevin Nagandi on earlier.
We did have Kevin Nagandi on. It was crazy that Jared McCain dropped right before we came on the air. That was probably one of the craziest things. News stories of the day. It is just a madhouse here, to say the least. I'll put it that way.
All right. Well,
crazy.
I know that, by the way, Billy Schwein in the locker room, he is out here recording a lot of interviews for his show on Saturday.
Can I give a tease for Saturday?
Yeah.
We have someone who did a real good impersonation of the Schwein.
All right.
I think you mentioned it earlier in the show, but if you didn't hear earlier, there was someone who's really good at impressions, did one of the Schwein.
So Saturday, 10 to noon, make sure you listen for a special edition of The Locker Room with a lot of guests from Radio Row here. We will also, if you're just tuning in now and you're like, man, I missed one of the interviews today, you can go back on the YouTube channel and watch the interviews throughout the day on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Also, this weekend, we're going to be putting together on Saturday and Sunday the best of Radio Row, leading you up right after Josh's show, Hanging with Henny, on Saturday from 3 to 6. We're going to have the best of Radio Row. And on Sunday from 3 to 5, we will have the best of Radio Row. So all the best interviews from Radio Row on the weekend as well. All right? All right, that's it. We've had it.
That's it. Time to go eat.
What time is it? 3 o'clock? It's 6 o'clock.
3 o'clock
back
here.
home. Josh Henning produced the show. Alex Berardis was on the YouTube channel. Nick Earnshaw, our on-site producer for Scott Grayson. Adam Kaplan, who joined us for football at 4. And everybody out there listening, this has been the Sports Bash live on Radio Row on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you tomorrow from San Francisco.